1965 American Football League Championship Game is on the air. Hello, everybody, from San Diego, California, Balboa Stadium. Well, this is Herb Carneal. I'll be calling the play-by-play today along with George Radaman, one of the former great quarterbacks in pro ball, who'll be giving you his analysis of the ball game. As today, we actually have a replay of last year's championship game played at Buffalo, New York. This year being played in San Diego between the San Diego Chargers and the defending champion Buffalo Bills. Actually, this will be the fifth time in 6 years that the Chargers have been in the title game under their fine coach Sid Gilman, although actually they have only won the title game once, and that came a couple of years ago when they defeated the Boston Patriots. Last year at Buffalo, it was the Bills winning it by a score of 20-7, the first time the Bills ever had been in the title game. Well, the weather here today is just ideal. The temperature right now is 59 degrees. The humidity is quite low. We will have a slight wind, which will be out of the southeast. That means it'll favor the club to our left as we are sitting here on the south side of Balboa Stadium. And there's not a cloud in the sky as the two teams get ready to move out onto the field, and we'll have those starting lineups a little bit later. But right now, we want to bring in George Radaman, who will be giving you, as I said earlier, his analysis of the ball game today. And George, although the Chargers are a slight favorite, the last time these two clubs met here at San Diego, it ended in a tie, and this could be another good one today.
I'm sure it will be. Of course, any championship game is going to see a good game between two fine football teams, because both of these teams had to come a long way to win their respective division championships. You know, it's sort of interesting to look at the statistics on these two teams for the past season. Just at first glance, statistically speaking, it would seem that San Diego would have it all over Buffalo, because they've won just about all of the statistic championships in the American Football League this year. They were first in passing offense, first in rushing offense, and actually first in total offense. And looking again at the defensive picture, they were first in passing defense, first in rushing defense, and first in total defense. The only place where Buffalo actually comes close to San Diego, statistically speaking, is in rushing defense, and there the Buffalo Bills were second in the league. But of course, statistics mean nothing when you get down to the final game of the year, to the championship game. Both teams highly keyed for this contest today, and I'm sure we'll see a great one.
George, I might mention that, of course, as we all know, injuries are a part of football, but it would seem that the Buffalo Bills, at least in the category of their receivers, have had more than their share of injuries this year, as far as being a club that has repeated as the Eastern Division title and again playing for the championship this year. The Bills have lost 3 of their receivers this year, of course, starting with Albert Davinian and then Glenn Bass, both of whom suffered knee injuries and have been out all year. And a couple of weeks ago, Charlie Ferguson, who had replaced Bass at spread end, was hurt. They were hoping that Ferguson might be ready to go today, but he has not even been reactivated. And so Buffalo could come into this ball game a little bit on the thin side as far as receivers go. Also, Buffalo will have one other starter out today, and that would be their great center from Michigan State, Dave Bierman, who has been suffering muscle spasms in his back, and he will be replaced by Al Biemiller from the University of Syracuse. And they'll be starting a second-year man, Joe O'Donnell, in the place of Biemiller over at right guard, with Biemiller moving from guard to center. Also, San Diego has a couple of question marks today, George. Number one, their great fullback, Keith Lincoln, who has a knee injury, and we don't know how much he'll be able to play today.
Well, they've been quite fortunate here in San Diego this year in that their rookie Gene Foster has filled in so very capably for Keith Lincoln, and that's a difficult thing to do, because Lincoln is as fine a running back and pass receiver as you will find in professional football today. And again, looking at the Buffalo picture, I think it's the mark of a great team to see what Buffalo has done this year, losing Dubenion and Bass so early in the season, but continuing to win despite those losses. Of course, they picked up Bo Roberson in a trade from Oakland, and he has come through very well for them, finished up 7th in the league in pass receiving. But that's the mark of a great football team, when you can lose people like that and still continue to win and play fine football.
Right, George, and I know that all the fans who followed the game last year recall that Keith Lincoln also was hurt in that championship game on a jarring tackle from linebacker Mike Stratton. That occurred very early in the ball game when it looked as though Lincoln might be set to have quite a big afternoon. But with Buffalo winning the game by only 13 points, losing Lincoln in that title game last year could have made, and I'm sure it did make quite a difference as far as the Chargers' chances were concerned. San Diego also has one other change in its starting lineup today in the offensive line. Big Ernie Wright, their left tackle, hurt an ankle last week. He sprained the ankle, and he'll be replaced today by a number 72, Gary Kerner, who's playing his second year in the American League from the University of Southern California.
Ernie may see some action, though I was talking to him down in the dressing room before the game, and he said that actually he didn't know whether he was going to start until he went out and warmed up before the game. So apparently he is feeling well enough so that even if he won't start in the ball game, he will see action.
All right, George and fans, we'll have the starting lineups for you now in just a moment. Now the starting lineups, and we'll give you the visiting Buffalo Bills first, and actually the Bills have won the toss. They will receive, and so when play starts from scrimmage, they will have their offensive unit in there. At the split end position will be Ed Rutkowski, a 3-year man from Notre Dame who is 6'1" and weighs 208 pounds. Starting at left tackle for the Bills will be the veteran Stu Barber from Penn State, a 5-year man. Barber is 6'2" and weighs 250 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, here is our national anthem. Continuing now with the starting lineup for the Buffalo Bills, we're giving you Rutkowski at left end, the split end, and Joe O'Donnell starting at, or rather Stu Barber at left tackle, and at left guard will be the offensive captain of the Bills, number 66, Billy Shaw, from Georgia Tech, a 5-year man in the American League. Shaw is 6'2" and weighs 260. And starting at center today will be number 50, Al Beemiller, from Syracuse. He is a 5-year man, 6'3", 260, and he is replacing the regular starting center for Buffalo, Dave Bierman, who, as I said a while ago, has muscle spasms and will not be able to play today. The position actually is not due to Beemiller, as he had played center a few years back on the University of Syracuse's national championship team, and also had played the center spot 4 years at Buffalo before actually switching to guard last year. So Beemiller will be at center, and starting at the right guard spot today will be number 67, Joe O'Donnell, a 2-year man from the University of Michigan, 6'2", 252. At right tackle for Buffalo will be number 79, Dick Hudson, a 3-year man from Michigan State, 6'3", 275 pounds. And the tight end for Buffalo's Bills, coached by Lou Saban, will be Paul Costa, a great-looking rookie from Notre Dame, 6'5", 255 pounds, and he has made many a key play, as the Buffalo fans well know, for their team this year. Round of applause down below for the emergence from the dressing room of the San Diego Chargers. In the backfield for Buffalo today will be veteran Jackie Kemp, who, of course, has played in some other title games, 2 of which he was a member of the San Diego Chargers back in the early days of the American Football League. Jackie today will be at quarterback, a 9-year man from Occidental College, a 6-footer, 200 pounds. Coach Lou Saban has made a last-minute, or pretty much of a last-minute change as far as his backfield is concerned. In an effort to give his quarterback, Jackie Kemp, a little more protection today, he is going to move Billy Joe, who has been running out of the fullback spot most of the time this year, to halfback. And he will play Ray Carlton, who started the year at halfback, in the fullback spot today. Billy Joe, number 33, starting at left half, a 3-year man from Villanova, 6'2", 236 pounds. It was Joe, of course, who was in the much-discussed trade this past winter between Denver and Buffalo, the deal which sent Cookie Gilchrist, the leading ground gainer in the American League last year, onto the Denver Broncos for Billy Joe. Starting at fullback will be number 30, Ray Carlton, a veteran from Duke University. Ray playing his 7th year in pro ball, 6'1", 230. He's rated a fine blocker. And the flanker back will be number 46, Bo Roberson, as George Radaman told you, started the year with the Oakland Raiders. But Buffalo, after losing to Binion and Baz, had to come up with somebody, and so they made a trade with Oakland to get Roberson, who'll be starting at flanker today. He's number 46, a 5-year man in the pro ranks, played his college ball at Cornell University. He's 6'1" and weighs 190 pounds. Now on the defensive unit, which will be starting the game today for San Diego, coached by Sid Gilman. At left end will be number 86, Earl Faison, a 5-year man from Indiana, 6'5", 270 pounds. At left tackle defensively for San Diego, number 79, George Gross, a 3-year man from Auburn who is 6'3" and weighs 260. At right tackle, number 77 will be Ernie Ladd, a 5-year man from Grambling. He is 6'9" and weighs in the neighborhood of 300. At right end, defensively for the Chargers, will be number 85, Bob Petrich, 6'4", 250, a 3-year man from West Texas State. The linebacker starting for San Diego at the left cornerback spot will be number 51, Dick Deacon, who is a rookie from Long Beach State. 6'1", 225 pounds. The middle linebacker will be number 50, Chuck Allen, a 5-year man from the University of Washington, the 6-footer, 225. The right linebacker will be number 55, Frank Buncombe. From the University of Southern California, Frank is 6'1", 240, and playing his 4th year in the American League. The deep defenders for the Chargers at the left corner spot will be number 49, Jim Warren, a 2-year man from Illinois, 5'11", 185. At the right corner will be Leslie Duncan, a 2-year man from Jackson State, 5'10", 180. And the safeties today will be number 33, Kenny Graham, a 6-footer, 200 pounds, a 2-year man from Washington State, and number 47, Bud Whitehead, a 5-year man from Florida State, 5'11", 185 pounds. The charge is now being introduced over the public address system here at Balboa Stadium. These two clubs in the regular season met twice at Buffalo, with the Bills fairly well crippled up at the time in their first meeting. They took the short end of a 34-3 trouncing, but later came back strong to tie the Chargers here in San Diego 20-20 on a very muddy field. And George, in that ball game played here at San Diego, it certainly gave one indication of how the pros are able to move that ball with not too much time remaining. As I recall, I believe there was a little over a minute left. Buffalo was trailing by 3 points, but they moved over half the length of the field to get in field goal position and got the 3 points to tie the game.
And I think they did that without using a timeout. That is, of course, they had pass receivers running out of bounds to stop the clock, but I don't believe they had any timeouts left in the ball game so that they could stop the clock just by calling a timeout. So that's quite a tribute to their offense as directed by Jackie Kemp.
Now we'll be set for the kickoff in just a minute. Herb Carneal with George Radaman from San Diego for the American Football League Championship Game. San Diego will kick off. They're defending the goal to our left, the western goal. And Herb Trevino, the place-kicking specialist for the Chargers, will be booting the ball down. Herb Trevino, number 35, who played at Texas College. He's stocky, 5'8", weighs 205 pounds. And he's a part-time postal employee. He arises each morning at 5:30. He's on duty about 5 o'clock. And the Chargers are hoping George Trevino didn't get overworked during the Christmas rush.
Apparently he wasn't too overworked during the season because he ended up 3rd in scoring in the American Football League this year with 94 points.
Charlie Warner and Ed Rutkowski deep for Buffalo, and it's a high kick. And moving back near the goal line, right at the 1 is Charlie Warner. Charlie Warner to the 10, following Rutkowski. Gets out to the 15-yard line, and there he's met by Jim Allison, and down he goes. Fumble the ball, I believe, after the whistle was blown. It'll be 1st and 10 to go for Buffalo at the Bills' 17-yard line. A 16-yard return for Charlie Warner, and there's one of the Buffalo players hurt on the kickoff. One of the Bills got shaken up on the kickoff return by Charlie Warner. So Buffalo now is taking a timeout here while the injured man, we can't make out who it is just yet.
There are undoubtedly more injuries on kickoffs than on any other play in football. Of course, the reason for that is you have 22 people down on a football field running full speed, one right at the other. On a normal running play from scrimmage, the linemen are only separated by about 1 yard, so they don't have much of an opportunity to get a running start. But on a kickoff, you have both teams moving full speed out on the field, and that's the reason you have so many injuries on the kickoffs and occasionally on punt returns also.
George, it appears that the injured player is the offensive captain of the Buffalo Bills, Billy Shaw, who has been a perennial All-American League player, elected by the players again this year as one of the outstanding guards in the American Football League. Billy is shaken up. He's still lying on the ground down at the 15-yard line. As Buffalo waits to put the ball in play, the line of scrimmage will actually be the 17, first and 10 to go, and they'll have Jackie Kemp in there at quarterback. The running backs will be Billy Joe and Ray Carlton, and the flanker will be Bo Roberson with the spread-in Ed Rutkowski and the tight end Paul Costa.
Should the Buffalo Bills lose Shaw at this early stage in the ballgame, this could hurt their attack, particularly their running attack, quite a bit. Not that his substitute would not be a fine football player, but an offensive line on a football team is a very closely knit thing. And, of course, the boys become accustomed to working one with the other in there. The timing is of extreme importance, particularly on the offensive plays. And so when you lose a fine blocker such as Billy Shaw and put somebody else in his place, it's going to change the timing just a little bit and will affect the running offense undoubtedly.
While we have a moment, we'll give you the officials for today. The referee will be Jim Barnhill, the head linesman Walt Parker, the umpire Harry Kessel, the field judge Ben Greif, the back judge Jack Reeder, and the alternate official today, Elvin Hutchison. I believe they had called for a stretcher for Billy Shaw, but apparently now they decided not to use one. Here's it. They're trying to flex Billy's knee as he still lies on the ground down there at the 15-yard line. Billy Shaw hurt on the opening kickoff here at Balboa Stadium. And as George Radaman told you, this could seriously impair the Buffalo attack since they already have lost their starting center, Dave Bierman, and have moved Al Biemiller over from right guard to the center spot.
And the reason for the long delay is that they're being very careful not to move him until they're sure just what this injury is. If he has an injury to his knee or his ankle, such a thing as a bone chip perhaps, or they definitely don't want to move him until they could perhaps bandage that, put a bandage around it, get him on a stretcher. But now he's up on his feet and walking off the field, so apparently it's not a serious injury. We'll have to wait and see whether he will come back in the ballgame a little later on.
So this means that George Flint, number 73, George Flint, will come in at the guard spot vacated by Billy Shaw. George Flint, a 5-year man from Arizona State, 6'4", 248. So the Bills have had to make some last-minute replacements in the interior line there as they come up to the line of scrimmage now with both ends in tight, and they have the flanker Roberson out wide to the left. Billy Joe and Ray Carlton the setbacks behind Jackie Kemp. First and 10 for the Bills at their own 17-yard line as Kemp gives the ball off to Billy Joe, the halfback, trying to go outside, and he comes across the 20-yard line before he's ridden out of bounds by Speedy Duncan, the right cornerback for the San Diego Chargers. Billy Joe picking up 5 yards on a sweep around the left side, so it'll be second down and 5 to go. 7 All-League players are in the game today, 7 for the Buffalo Bills and 4 members of the San Diego Chargers making the All-League team this year. Offensively from Buffalo, Jackie Kemp, Billy Shaw, and their fine place kicker, Pete Gogolak. Defensively in there right now for San Diego, and Earl Faison and tackle Ernie Ladd, both selected on the All-Star team. Second and 5, Buffalo at the 22, no score in the opening minute of the ball game here at San Diego. Roberson wide to the right, and they give the ball to Carlson, who finds a hole over left tackle, comes up for about 4 yards before he's knocked down by the middle linebacker, Chuck Allen, along with George Gross, the left tackle. It looks like they're going to be just short of a first down. Very, very close, and I believe it'll be just a couple of feet now for a first down. We might have to have a measurement.
And we notice that Jackie Kemp is taking a long time up at the line of scrimmage, taking a good look in these early plays at the San Diego defense. That's normal at the beginning of a ball game. The quarterback will want to come up, have a look at the defense, see what the Chargers have decided to do against them today. And the Chargers appear to be overshifting a bit toward the open side of the field, so the first 2 Buffalo plays have come back toward the close side. Roberson wide to the right, and now Ernie Warlick, number 84, is in there at tight end for Buffalo. And they give the ball to Carlin, trying for the first down. He smashes in there, and I believe he got it.
It was tough going as Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker, and Bob Petrich, the right end for San Diego, moved up to stop the play. Ray Carlton slashing off left tackle. Gets the first down, I believe, although we will have the measurement. This series started by the Bills from the 17-yard line. So they're bringing the chain in now, and it's a first down by more than the length of the football. 1st and 10 to go for the Bills as they picked up the first down on 3 running plays. No score with 13 3/4 minutes still left in the first period. A bright, sunshiny afternoon here at San Diego with a temperature right around the 60-degree mark. Bo Roberson moving out as a flanker wide to the right. Buffalo's been keeping both of its ends. Ernie Warlick in there now, and Paul Costa. Very tight. Kemp back for a pass looking for Roberson, and he grabs that ball at the 35-yard line, spins away, but he goes out of bounds. Jim Warren, the cornerback, I believe had him out of bounds, although Roberson's still running. He gets to about the 40-yard line on the other side of the field before Speedy Duncan ran him out of bounds. And, George, that's one of the longest lateral runs I've seen in quite a while.
He went all the way across the field from the far sideline until he finally ran out of bounds over here on the near sideline toward us. San Diego continues with their overshifted defense in the line. Normally in the defensive setup, the defensive tackles will be lined up opposite the offensive guards. In this setup, though, Ernie Ladd, who's the defensive right tackle, moves over and plays head-on the center, which causes the whole defensive line then to move toward the open side of the field. Must be quite a sensation to be a center and have Ernie Ladd staring down your throat.
That was a 12-yard gain on a first down out at the 39-yard line. Roberson wide to the right, both the ends in tight. They give the ball off to Ray Carlton, the fullback. He's got 1, 2, 3 yards before he's wrestled down by Frank Bunkum, the outside linebacker on the right side, as Carlton picked up 3 yards out to the 42. So it'll be 2nd down and 7 to go. Buffalo picking up 2 first downs in this drive, completing the only pass that they've thrown.
And again, Jackie Kemp continues to run toward the close side of the field. All of his running plays so far have come back toward the sideline. It'll be interesting to see if San Diego continues to overshift their defense or whether they will try to compensate by playing a straight defense.
This time they move Warlick out as they split in on the left side, flank Roberson to the right. 2nd and 7 for Buffalo on its own 42-yard line. And Kemp dropping back action. Throws down the field, and it is intercepted by Jim Warren. At the San Diego 35-yard line. Jim Warren, the left cornerback, intercepts. San Diego will take over 1st and 10 to go at its own 33-yard line.
Fine defensive play by Warren. Bo Roberson had been a flanker wide to the right. Kemp was trying to hit him as he came down over the middle, but Warren kept position on him so that Roberson couldn't get in toward the ball. Fine interception on the play.
So now San Diego with Johnny Hadle at quarterback, Paul Lowe and Gene Foster the running backs, and Lance Allworth the flanker. They have both ends in tight, Dave Kasurik and Don Norton. They're in a strong left formation. They give the ball up to Paul Lowe, who's caught at the line of scrimmage on a fine tackle there by Tom Sestak. Right defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10 to go for San Diego. Johnny Hadle at quarterback. Paul Lowe, who set a new American Football League record in rushing this year, and Gene Foster, a rookie, at the running back spots. The incomparable Lance Allworth, the flanker, and the ends Don Norton and Dave Kasurik. There's no score here in the first period with 11:25 left. 2nd and 10 as they send Norton as the flanker to the left this time. And they actually were in a double wing here as they move Foster up at the wing back, and Allworth is wide open as he grabs the ball at midfield and is brought down for a first down inside the 50-yard line. And it didn't take San Diego long, George, to go to that passing formation.
As you say, Lance Allworth was wide open on that play. He went down about 12 or 15 yards downfield and ran a hook pattern, faking as if he were going deep and then suddenly stopping in his tracks. And Hadle hit him immediately. Very nice timing on the play.
A 20-yard gain on the play and a first down for San Diego. They're starting now from the Buffalo 47 of this series. Allworth wide to the right and Norton as a flanker on the left side. On the draw here, it goes to Foster, who's flattened at the line of scrimmage. He was hit hard. Jim Dunaway, the left defensive tackle, 275-pounder from the University of Mississippi, who was Buffalo's number 2 draft choice 3 years ago. So they lost about a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11 now for San Diego on the Bills' 48. San Diego's interior line has Gary Kerner from Southern California and Ron Mix from Southern California at the tackles, Walt Sweeney and Ernie Park at the guards, and Sam Grenison at center. 2nd down, 11 to go. They have Allworth as the wide receiver on the right side, using Norton as a flanker to the left. They give the ball off to Paul Lowe, following his 2 guards. He cuts in behind the block, is hit by Harry Jacobs and Mike Stratton, the 2 linebackers. Harry Jacobs backing up in the middle, and Mike Stratton on the right side caught him and brought him down after a short gain to the 46-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and 9 to go now for the San Diego Chargers. San Diego nothing and Buffalo nothing in the first period with 9.5 minutes left to go. Buffalo's defensive line has Ron McDowell, Jim Dunaway, Tom Sestak, and Tom Day. Backing up are John Tracy, Harry Jacobs, and Mike Stratton. And the backfield men are Edgerson, Clark, Sames, and Bird. They're going into a triple receiver formation with 3 receivers this time to the right side. And here is Hadel back to the forward. Throws on the delay to his safety valve man. Paul Lowe is nailed for a loss. Harry Jacobs, the right linebacker, moving in to make the stop. As they were sending everybody out that time, and that was the same formation from which they had passed Allworth a moment ago, George.
Bit of an unusual pass play in that they had 3 potential receivers on the right side of the field, sent them down deep, and I believe they were trying to hit Norton on the left side of the field. He was all alone over there, but was well covered, so as you say, they threw to the safety valve, Paul Lowe, who was just standing there very close to the line of scrimmage, but he was tackled immediately after catching the ball.
Actually, there was no gain, so it's 4th and 9 from the Buffalo 46, and now Jim Allison, a rookie from San Diego State, is punting, and he gets off a very short kick off the side of his foot, coming over to the right sidelines, and it is downed by Miller Farr at the 27-yard line. So that was just a 19-yard kick off the foot of the rookie, Jim Allison, who hadn't actually kicked too much this year, but he had been looking very good, punting in practice, and had replaced Johnny Hadel as the punter. There's time out on the field now with a score, San Diego nothing and Buffalo nothing. Herb Carneal with George Rotherman from Balboa Stadium, San Diego, California, the American Football League Championship game. No score. With 8 minutes left to go in the opening quarter, Buffalo now taking over 1st and 10 at its 27. They have Roberson as a flanker to the left side as Jackie Kemp calls the signals. Ray Carlton and Billy Joe behind him. Gives the ball off quickly and out to Billy Joe. Coming outside to his left, he's hauled down by Speedy Duncan, the right cornerback. After he picked up maybe a yard or so after the 28-yard line. Actually, Kemp faked the ball to Carlton, going up the middle, and then countered it to Billy Joe coming outside.
Nice bit of ball handling by Jackie Kemp on that play, and he is one of the better ball handlers in professional football today, besides being an extremely capable passer. Throws a lot of his passes after faking running plays. And, of course, that helps your pass patterns quite a bit, gives the passer more time to throw the ball, too, if he can delay the defensive lineman by faking a running play.
Roberson, the flanker to the right. 2nd and 9. Jackie Kemp fading back. Looking downfield. Throwing to Costa, his big tight end. He's got him up across the 35-yard line. Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker, brought him down. Paul Costa, 6'5", 255 pounds, leaving up to grab that ball and give Buffalo a first down out at the 38-yard line. He picked up 10 yards on the play. Paul Costa, who has turned out to be quite a find for the Buffalo Bills. Paul played at Notre Dame, although he did not letter his last year there. He was hurt some, but he has done a tremendous job his rookie year with the Buffalo Bills. And now have a first down out at the 38-yard line. Keeping both ends in tight, Ernie Warlick and Costa as they send Roberson as the flanker to the right. Here's Billy Joe, the halfback, looking for a hole over right tackle, and he is hit by Deegan, the left linebacker, along with Ernie Ladd. The right tackle coming through for a pretty good game, though, is Billy Joe, who is running out of the halfback spot today. So Joe picked up 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 to go. A little bit ironic, George, in that they had made the backfield switch, putting Joe at left half, ostensibly to give Kemp more passing protection, but they haven't thrown much yet.
No, so far it appears that San Diego is going to play a bit more of a wide-open football game than Buffalo.
The Bills with a 2nd and 4 at the 44-yard line. Roberson, the flagger to the right. Again, the ends are in tight. Give the ball off in there to the halfback, Billy Joe, who's being pushed backwards. The forward momentum will be allowed out to about the 46 or 7. George Gross and Chuck Allen were wrestling Billy Joe back towards his own goal line, but the officials say his forward momentum had carried him to the 46, let's call it, for a 2-yard gain, which will bring up 3rd down and 2 to go. Actually, it's about 2.5 yards to go, and this makes it a pretty tough call in there, George, for Jack Kemp.
I was just trying to figure out what he will do in this situation. Of course, with Billy Joe, who is running very well today, very strong runner, although that size, it might be the obvious thing to hand him the ball.
All right, a big play here for the Buffalo Bills and for San Diego, and a good fake in there to Carlson. He flobs it over the middle to Costa, but it's overthrown. Beautiful fake in there, but the pass was overthrown to Costa, so it'll be a 4th down situation. And we'll pause now, 10 seconds for station identification. With a punt situation, 4th and 2 from their own 46, will have Paul McGuire, one of the league's outstanding punters, to kick it down to either Kenny Graham or Speedy Duncan. Graham on the near side. Good pass from center. And a wobbly spiral kick coming over this way towards Graham, who's letting it roll inside the 20, 15, 10, rolling to the 8-yard line, where it is touched down by Bill Lasky, one of the members of Buffalo's specialty team, along with fellows like Tom Yannick and Marty Schottenheimer, Henry Schmidt. There's timeout on the field. The score is San Diego 0, Buffalo 0.
Wonder what's on. No matter where you stare with your ears, there is only one monitor. This is David Wayne, your Saturday morning monitor host, and here is
Ed McMahon, your Saturday afternoon monitor host.
Hi, Gene Rayburn here, part of the Saturday night monitor scene. This is Barry Nelson, your Sunday afternoon monitor host.
And this is Frank Blair, your Sunday night monitor host, inviting you to join all of us each weekend on Monitor.
No matter where you stare with your ears, there is only one monitor. Stare as long as you like, every weekend, at the specialness that is Monitor.
Ready to go back to action now as Paul McGuire has kicked one dead to the 9-yard line. It was a fine 45-yard kick with no return. And the Chargers take over deep in their own territory. They'll keep both ends in this time and use Allworth as a flagger to the left side. Foster and Lowe, the running backs. And a pitch quickly back to Lowe, trying to cut right in. He's at the 10, the 15, 20. Lowe following 2 blockers at the 40. Down the sidelines, across midfield before he's wrestled out of bounds by Hagan Clark. Beautiful run by Paul Lowe, who appeared to be caught along the line of scrimmage, but broke loose from a tackle, streaked down the right sidelines behind a convoy of blockers, Walt Sweeney and Ernie Park leading the way, and he is finally pushed out of bounds on the Buffalo 44-yard line. A tremendous run by Paul Lowe, and we certainly see now why he led the league in rushing, George.
And he came very close to being stopped back there at the line of scrimmage. Did a nice job of avoiding one would-be tackler back there before getting behind Walt Sweeney, who did a fine job of convoying him down the field.
47-yard run by Paul Lowe. Allworth flank to the left. Kasurik and Norton, the 2 ends are in tight. Close formation in the backfield, but Hadel's going to pass. Dropping straight back, he avoids the on rush. Runs out to his left. Now he's in trouble again, and down he goes. Tom Day, the right end, pounced on him with Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker right there. A good rush put on by the Buffalo Bills. They had Hadel in trouble. He got out of one jam, but ran into another one. It's big Tom Day, the right end, hold him down at the 47. That loss of 3 yards on the play, 2nd and 13.
And that time they had sent Lance Allworth deep down the field, obviously trying to hit him on the long pass pattern, but Butch Bird was with him all the way, covering him very effectively. That was one of the reasons that Hadel had to run the ball, that and the defensive line of Buffalo, who put a lot of pressure on him that time.
In two previous meetings, I believe that Buffalo was able to get to Hadel only once and throwing behind the line of scrimmage, so they've equaled that today. And they're in that trip right formation with three receivers, Foster, Kasurik, and Allworth all on the right side. Norton split left. Hadel running back. The pass is tripped up back at his own 45 on a beautiful ankle tackle by Tom Sestak. The all-league right tackle from the Buffalo Bills, just as Hadel was getting ready to let the ball go, Sestak dived through the air, grabbed him around the ankles, and tripped him up back at his own 45-yard line. So a loss of 8 makes it 3rd and 21 to go.
And once again, the San Diego Chargers send 5 pass receivers down the field. That's a bit unusual. Usually on pass patterns, a team will send 3, perhaps 4. Very seldom do they send 5 men down the field. But already several times in the ball game, San Diego has sent all of their eligible receivers, all 5 of them downfield. Now, of course, that doesn't leave too many people back to block for the passer. Perhaps that was the reason that Hadel was dumped that time.
3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Chargers, the Bills, scoreless. This time they move up there in a double wing formation. They have Allworth as a wide receiver on the right side. They're using Foster as a slot man on the left, and a long pass for Allworth that's going to be overthrown. Booker Edgerton was trying to cover him on the play, but the pass was overthrown, and Allworth was about 2 steps behind it. So it'll be 4th and 21 as Hadel went for broke there with 21 yards to go on 3rd down. Overthrew the pass. So now San Diego will have Jim Allison back apparently to kick again, the rookie from San Diego State. And Buffalo is going to have 3 receivers back. Butch Bird, Edward Kowski, and the short man will be Haygood Clark, who's back more or less as a blocker. Jim Allison standing on his own 30-yard line. Gets a good pass from center. But gets away a very poor kick off the side of his foot again, and it's taking a backward bounce. Millifar downs it at the 46-yard line of Buffalo. So that kick went only 9 yards from the line of scrimmage, and the rookie Jim Allison, who got away a 19-yarder his first time, having his troubles here punting today. Actually, San Diego's regular punter, Rick Redmond, a linebacker, is out for the season, has undergone surgery. Then the Chargers turned the punting over to Johnny Hadel, but as I said a while ago, Jim Allison had looked so good punting, and he had kicked a few times in league games. They decided to turn the punting chores over to him, but twice in a row now he has hit the ball off the side of his foot. So it's a break for Buffalo, and they'll take over 1st and 10 to go at their own 46-yard line. Three minutes, 7 seconds left in the first period here at Balboa Stadium, with a crowd of some 30,000 looking on. This undoubtedly will be the last time a title game is played by the Chargers here. Of course, next year the title game will be played in the home stadium of the Eastern Division winner. But 2 years from now, San Diego will be playing in its tremendous new stadium, for which ground was broken here in San Diego just 8 or 9 days ago. And the stadium is due to be ready for football starting with the 1967 season. Buffalo with a 1st and 10 on its own 46. It's been a seesaw battle. The big play of the ball game thus far has been that 47-yard run by Paul Lowe of San Diego, but San Diego actually hasn't been able to muster a serious threat, and neither has Buffalo for that matter. Now they have Rutkowski in there as the split end on the left side, replacing Warlick, and they use Roberson as a flanker wide to the right. And Jack Kemp on the draw gives the ball to Carlton. Up to midfield, and that's as far as he goes. Hit there by Bob Petrich. Ernie Ladd out at midfield, make it a 4-yard gain, and 2nd and 6 now for the Bills at midfield. Buffalo moved the ball pretty well at the opening kickoff. They picked up 2 first downs, but then with a 2nd and 7 from their own 42, Jackie Kemp's pass was intercepted on a fine defensive play by cornerback Jim Warren of the Chargers to halt that Buffalo drive. Same formation with Rutkowski split left and Roberson flank to the right. Ray Carlton and Billy Joe the running backs, and Kemp wants to throw. And Ernie Ladd is after him. He throws on the run, incomplete to Carlton, just a safety valve pass. This big Ernie Ladd kept lumbering in there. And as they walk back towards the line of scrimmage, side by side, that Ladd really dwarfs little Jackie Kemp, who actually isn't so little at that. It's just that Ladd weighs about 300.
I believe the Bills were trying to set up a screen pass out to the right that time, but actually they just didn't have time to get the screen formed because Ladd was in there much too quickly and was all over Kemp, or at least chasing Kemp, before they had a chance to set up the screen. As a result, Kemp had to run right over toward the screen that they were trying to set up, and that drew a lot of defenders over that way. So perhaps he was just as fortunate that it went incomplete, because when that happens, you can have an interception, and if you have one on a screen pass, there's a good chance the defender may go all the way with it.
Third down, 6 to go. Buffalo out at midfield. Rutkowski wide to the left, Roberson flank right, dropping back is Kemp. He throws on a run to Ray Carlton, flaring out to the right, but it's incomplete. Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker, was staying right with him all the way. Dick Deegan, the left linebacker, had blitzed on the play, put a pretty good rush on, and Kemp had to hurry his throw just a little bit. So it's 4th down and 6 now, and another punt situation. But Paul McGuire, who averaged 43 yards a kick, the 4th highest average in the league, will be back to punt for the Buffalo Bills. Got away a 45-yarder with no return a moment ago. Kenny Graham and Speedy Duncan will be the deep man receiving for San Diego. Duncan, who set a new league record for punt returns this year. They try to kick the ball away from him, but this time he's going to take it. Nope, it's going to be Kenny Graham who fair catches the ball at the 12. At the last instant, Duncan gave way, and a couple of boys getting a little excited, a little pushing going on, but it's quickly quieted down. So it'll be a 1st and 10 now for San Diego from its own 11-yard line. I recall last year in the waning moments of the game, George, that McGuire got away a tremendous punt that I believe went out of bounds on the Chargers' 2-yard line to just about nail it down.
He's a fine kicker. As you mentioned, he came in 4th this year in punting in the league with a 43-yard average. It's interesting to note that he was only 3 yards behind Gerald Wilson of Kansas City, who came in first. He had a 46-yard average.
Allworth flanked to the left. The ends are in tight. And here's the get to low. That play that he gained 47 yards a moment ago, a penalty flag is down as Harry Jacobs wraps him up. But there's holding going to be called against these Chargers, I believe, which will cost them half the distance to the goal line. The Chargers trying to use that play with Lowe gained 47 yards a moment ago, but Harry Jacobs was in there to nail him along with Edgerton. And while we await now the outcome of the penalty, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Herb Carneal along with George Rademan from San Diego, California. The American Football League Championship game here. The Buffalo Bills and the San Diego Chargers. No score with a minute 12 left in the first period. Holding has been called against the offensive San Diego Chargers. They started to mark off the penalty, but apparently, George, there was a misunderstanding, and the Bills decided to take the play, which resulted in no gain.
Well, it was a no-gain play, so they had the choice of either having it 2nd and 10 on the 11-yard line or putting the Chargers back on their own 5.5, but of course, then it still would have been 1st down. So they, I think, wisely elected to take the down instead of the penalty. So it's 2nd and 10 on the 11.
Don Norton wide to the left, Allworth to the right. They have the tight end Kasuric to the left. Actually using Norton as a flanker over there, and they give the ball off to Lowe, following Ernie Park, who gets a good block. Lowe tripped up on the far side by Butch Bird, the right quarterback. A fine block there by the pulling guard, Ernie Park, who took down one of the Buffalo would-be tacklers as Lowe turned down left corner. First time he's run that way. Throws the ball out to the 21-yard line, and it looks like they've got the first down. They have. A first down. As Paul Lowe picks up 10 yards, and the Chargers have a 1st and 10 at the 21 with time running out here in the first period. Norton wide to the left. Flank Allworth to the right. Quick drop back by Hale. He throws to Norton, incomplete. Norton going high in the air in front of his defender, the cornerback, Butch Bird. But an incomplete pass, and it's 2nd and 10 now at the 21.
And a nice defensive play by Harry Jacobs, the linebacker on Buffalo, who managed to jump up and deflect the ball slightly. He got between the receiver and the passer. On those short passes, the linebackers can be much more effective in countering the pass than the deep backs, actually, because the deep backs always have to look for the long pass. That is, they're afraid the receiver may fake the short one and go deep. The linebackers are the key players in intercepting or knocking down the short passes.
Norton wide to the left and Allworth to the right. And they have Foster as a wingback or a slot man on the left side this time, and Hale's back to throw. Down the middle again. He's got a man open. Don Norton at the 35, slipped the tackle. Norton across midfield before he's brought down. Don Norton, on a fine effort, grabbed the ball around the 33, slipped the tackle, and moved all the way down to Buffalo's 44 before Mike Stratton, the right linebacker, could bring him down. And it's first and 10 to go now for the San Diego Chargers. 35-yard gain. That's the end of the first quarter, and the score is San Diego nothing, Buffalo nothing. It'll be first and 10 to go for the San Diego Chargers from the 44-yard line of the Buffalo Bills after a 35-yard pass play from Johnny Hadle to Don Norton.
Field goal good. 18-yard field goal good by Green Bay. They win the overtime.
We just got a final in the National Football League playoff. Green Bay on an 18-yard field goal in a sudden death overtime period defeated Baltimore 13-10. Green Bay 13, Baltimore 10 in the National League playoff for the Western Division title. Johnny Hadle bringing him up there now has Allworth. Wide to the right. He gives the ball to Foster, who finds a big hole over the middle before he's ridden down from behind by Tom Day, the right end. But Foster had a gaping hole open up in there. Sam Grenison, Ernie Park, and Walt Sweeney opening up a big hole for him as he barrels down to the 34-yard line. It'll be just about enough for a first down. It will necessitate a measurement. George, has been a real good-looking San Diego drive.
It is. So far, they have tended to have a more wide-open offense than Buffalo, throwing more passes than the Bills have so far. And, of course, that helps the running attack, too, because if the Bills have to lay back and look for the passes, the linebackers can't get into the act quite as much in defending against the running plays. And that time we saw Foster go right up the middle on what you'd have to call a quick opener. He was there almost before the ball was centered.
They missed the first down. They have about a foot to go. Second down coming up. Let's see if they'll go for the first down, or sometimes they like to really go for that long one in this situation on a second down. And about a foot to go. Allworth flank to the right. They give the ball to Lowe over right tackle. Following Ernie Park, he's got the first down. They're going to push him back some, but he made the first down. Mike Stratton was up there along with Harry Jacobs. George Thames also in on the tackle, but Lowe picked up the necessary yardage. Got to the 33-yard line, so it's first and 10 to go now for San Diego. They have moved the ball all the way from their own 11 to the Buffalo 33, where it's first and 10 to go. No score early in the second period here at Balboa Stadium in San Diego. They'll use Don Norton as a wide receiver to the left. Allworth wide to the right. Hadle looking for Allworth, who trips up going downfield, and now running the ball out of bounds goes Johnny Hadle. As Allworth tripped going downfield, and Hadle just elected to run that ball out of bounds, George, and that could have been a wise decision.
Booker Edgerson did double duty on that play. He was the one who bumped Allworth over there, knocked him to the ground, and then he ended up chasing Hadle out of bounds, so he got in play on both ends. Knocked the receiver down and then finally made the passer run out of bounds with the ball.
Yes, sir, and quite a Cinderella story as far as the defensive man, Booker Edgerson. He was a free agent and signed by the Buffalo Bills, played his college ball at Weston, Illinois. So it'll be second and 12 now for San Diego. Back on the Buffalo 35-yard line. They have Allworth flanked to the left. Gene Foster and Paul Lowe, the running backs behind Hadle. Hadle dropping straight back, looking downfield. Now runs out to the left. He may run. He's at the 35. The line of scrimmage down to the 30. He slips and down he goes. But Mike Stratton and Harry Jacobs and Ron McDowell all there on top of him as Hadle ran the ball for 7 yards, finding no one open. Moves it down to the 28-yard line, which gives them 7 yards and brings up 3rd and 5 to go. 13 and a quarter minutes left to go in the first half. San Diego nothing and Buffalo nothing, but this is the only really long sustained drive that we've had by either club thus far. Ron McDowell, Tom Sestak, Jim Dunaway, and Tom Day in that defensive line for Buffalo. Digging in there as the Chargers come up with a 3rd and 5 now from the Bills' 28. They have Allworth and Norton as the wide men. Down the middle goes a pass to Lowe, but he can't hold it. He was hit hard by George Sames just as he touched the ball around the Buffalo 15-yard line. As Hadel had Norton wide to the left and Allworth wide to the right, threw to his halfback, Paul Lowe out of the 15. He had just a slim chance of holding on as he was really jolted on that tackle by George Sames. So with a 4th and 5 now from the Buffalo 28, we'll have the first bona fide scoring attempt of the day as Herb Trevino will try a 35-yard field goal, and Don Breaux, a reserve quarterback, will hold the ball at the left hash mark. Not too much wind at the moment as Trevino puts it up, but it's partially deflected, and it isn't going to be no good. It hits on the 5-yard line. Down at the 5-yard line was Jim Allison, who went down to cover the ball for the San Diego Chargers. It looked like Stratton got in there to deflect the ball for Buffalo. Right now there's time out on the field. The score is Buffalo nothing, San Diego nothing.
Wonder what's on. No matter where you stare with your ears, there is only one monitor.
This is Frank Blair, your Sunday Night Monitor host, here to introduce some other Monitor regulars.
This is Chet Huntley, NBC News, reporting for Monitor.
This is Joe Garagiola for Monitor Sports. This is Al Capp, stepping out of Dog Patch to talk to you on NBC's Monitor.
This is Skitch Henderson for Monitor.
All of these personalities appear regularly on Monitor.
No matter where you stare with your ears, there is only one Monitor. Stare as long as you like, every weekend, at the specialness that is Monitor.
It'll be 1st and 10 now for Buffalo as Sestak and Stratton got in there to deflect that field goal attempt at Trevino. 1st and 10 at the 5-yard line. They put Roberson as a flanker to the right. Warlick and Costa, the ends, are both tight. Billy Joe and Ray Carlton, the running backs, as Jackie Kemp gives the ball straight ahead in there to Ray Carlton, the fullback, who smashes up for about 3 yards to the 8. So it'll be 2nd and 7 to go. Ernie Ladd and George Gross, the 2 tackles, stopping Carlton on the play. 2nd and 7 for the Bills at their own 8-yard line. 12 minutes to go in the first half. The American Football League Championship Game here from Balboa Stadium at San Diego, California. The Chargers just drove 61 yards and then had the unsuccessful field goal attempt. Roberson this time will move as a flanker to the left side. Open formation in the backfield. Jack Kemp calling signals, dropping back, looking the field over, has lots of time, throws to Warlick at the 15. Big Ernie out to the 20-yard line before he's knocked down by Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker. And that takes a lot of pressure, George, off the Bills after that completion.
And that time the Bills stole a page from the Chargers book because the Bills on that play sent 5 receivers downfield. Warlick delayed a bit after line of scrimmage as the other 4 receivers went deep. Then he caught the little short pass, good enough to pick up a first down on the 20-yard line.
Bo Roberson moving out wide to the right. They have those 2 big ends in there, both in close. Ernie Warlick, 235-pounder, and Paul Costa, 255 pounds. A good fake in there to Billy Joe. Kemp back to throw. Lots of time. Throws long downfield for Costa. It's way overthrown. 2 men recover him, Speedy Duncan and Bud Whitehead. And a good rush was put on by big Ernie Ladd. The protection held up for a long time before Ladd and Petrich got in there. So it'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Bills at the 20.
And I think Kemp was looking for Ernie Warlick again on that play, but Ernie went about 10 or 12 yards downfield and either lost his footing or was pushed down by one of the defenders.
So Warlick now is going out, and Ed Rutkowski, the real handyman for the Bills, is coming in. And he'll be used as a split end to the left side. Roberson, the flanker, to the right. 2nd and 10 for Buffalo on its own 20-yard line. Ray Carlton and Billy Joe set behind Jackie Kemp. Kemp back to pass. Throws downfield, and Roberson. Pass is overthrown up at the midfield stripe. covered on the play by Jim Warren, and again, George, it appeared that there might have been a little mix-up in the pattern.
I think there was, because Roberson went down about 25 yards and broke toward the outside, whereas Jackie Kemp just threw the ball straight down the field as if he had expected Roberson to go straight. I noticed Jackie called off his play at the line of scrimmage. He checked signals there that time, took an awful long time at the line of scrimmage, so perhaps Roberson from his flanker position did not hear the new play that Jackie Kemp called up at the line of scrimmage.
And Roberson, of course, who played the first half of this year with the Oakland Raiders before being traded by them to the Buffalo Bills. Pete Mills, number 48, now coming in as a flanker to the right side. They have Ed Rutkowski as a split end to the left with a 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Jack Kemp going back to pass. Lots of time. He fires one, and it is almost intercepted by Kenny Graham. Paul Costa was the intended receiver. But Kenny Graham, the safety man, and the middle linebacker Chuck Allen were both there for San Diego, and Graham almost intercepted. So it'll be 4th and 10 now for Buffalo. At its 20, and they'll have to boot the ball downfield of the Chargers. Repeating that final score in the National Football League special playoff game for the Western Division title, in overtime, Green Bay 13, Baltimore 10. Paul McGuire back, and he'll kick to either Duncan or Graham. Duncan on the near side, Graham on the far side. McGuire hits a driving spiral kick. He really boomed this one back there, and Duncan over his shoulder at the 25. Coming back to the 30. He's caught from behind, and down he goes at the 33-yard line. A tremendous boot there. It was Joe O'Donnell who got down the field to nail him. Speedy Duncan, who set a new league record for punt returns this year, caught that one over his shoulder on the 25-yard line. A 55-yard kick from the line of scrimmage by Paul McGuire, who's really getting away some fine kicks today for the Buffalo Bills.
Some fine defensive work by the Buffalo Bills going down under that punk, because this Duncan is very dangerous, and that was a line drive, so it didn't give the defenders too much time to get down under it.
1st and 10 at the 33 now for San Diego, and they give the ball on the cross buck to Lowe, who is low as he flattened on a tremendous tackle by Tom Day. Big Tom Day, 265-pounder. Hit Paul Lowe head on, lifted him in the air, and slammed him to the ground after just a couple of yards. 2nd and 8 to go. A bone-rattling tackle there by Day put on Paul Lowe. 2nd and 8 for the Chargers at the 35. There's no score in the title game in the American Football League here from San Diego with 9.5 minutes to go in the half. They have Allworth as the flanker to the right side. Rolling out his Hadel to the right, throws on the run, and he hits Foster, but he drops the ball at the 40-yard line. Gene Foster, flaring out to the right, has the ball. A penalty marker has been thrown now back between the 25 and the 30-yard line after the incomplete pass. This is only the second penalty called in the game thus far. The other one, holding against San Diego, was declined by Buffalo. And apparently this time also it is Buffalo's option.
Yeah, well, you'll get another one at 2:30 now.
It's holding again against San Diego. And this will cost them 15 yards.
I gave him one at 45.
Going to put the ball back on the 14-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 29 yards to go. Holding marked off from the spot of the foul there, puts it back on the 14-yard line with a 2nd and 29 at the 14. Don Norton will be wide to the left, Allworth to the right. The tight end is Dave Kasurik. Long yardage here on 2nd down as Hadel back to pass. Fakes once and gives it on a deep reverse to Paul Lowe. On the left side, he's caught beautifully by Tom Day. No, it was Sestak. Tom Sestak, the right tackle who got in there. Tom Sestak, who hit him around the ankles. Back at the 8-yard line, a 6-yard loss. 3rd and 35. And George, just when it appeared that Lowe might be really getting ready to move, Sestak made quite an open field tackle on him.
Beautiful defensive play by Sestak. Actually, he had been blocked out of the play on the reverse, was lying on the ground and just managed, he didn't get all the way up to his feet, but just managed to more or less crawl back far enough to get his arm out and knock down Lowe. But a very nice defensive play after he had been blocked out.
So So it is now third and some 35 yards to go for the first down. San Diego back on its own 8-yard line. They're in a passing formation with Hadel rolling to the right back at the 5-yard line. Lobs on a field, and the pass is incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Haggard Clark bumping Gene Foster, the intended receiver, and some of the crowd thought that interference should have been called on Clark. Hadel's pass went out of bounds. The officials rule it an incomplete forward pass. So it'll be fourth and 35 to go back at the 8-yard line. Buffalo's defensive team, which has played tremendous football, now has backed San Diego right up to its own goal line. And this time, Johnny Hadel will be the punter. Rookie Jim Allison punted the first 2 times, but now they'll get Johnny Hadel, a 4-year man from Kansas, a quarterback, as a punter. Butch Bird and Edward Kowski standing back near midfield for Buffalo. Good pass from center, and a very fine kick, a tremendous high spiraling kick. Bird over his shoulder, back on his own 30-yard line, to the 35. Butch Bird to the 40-yard line. He's hit, and down he goes. He was hit by Jack McKinnon coming downfield at the 40-yard line. What a kick that was by Johnny Hadel. A 62-yard kick from the line of scrimmage.
A beautiful punt, and so I would imagine we'll see Hadel doing the punting for the Chargers the rest of the afternoon.
There's timeout on the field with a score. Buffalo nothing, San Diego nothing. By Ray Carlson, who was hit around the 43-yard line, and he had Jim Warren, Bud Whitehead rather, the safety man, riding him piggyback style until he finally dragged him down out near midfield at the 48-yard line. Second down and 2 to go. Ray Carlson, a 7-year veteran from Duke University at Durham, North Carolina, who started the year at halfback and then was moved to fullback. On a very fine individual effort there. Second and 2 to go at the 48. The Bills putting Roberson out as a flanker to the right. They have Ernie Warlick in there now and Paul Costa, the 2 ends tight. And they give the ball off straight ahead to Carlton with a first down as he barrels inside the 45-yard line of the Chargers. Brought down by Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker, as Ray Carlton straight ahead to the 44-yard line of San Diego as he picked up 8 yards on that smash, and a first and 10 to go for Buffalo. First downs now. San Diego has picked up 5, and the Bills have 4. In passing, Buffalo is 3 for 10, and San Diego is 2 for 8. First and 10, the Bills on the San Diego 44-yard line. Kowski wide to the left and Roberson to the right. Jack Kemp back for a first down forward. Runs to the right. Lobs one downfield. Costa's open. And he grabs the ball near the sideline. And he is out of bounds on the San Diego 22. A great over-the-shoulder catch by Paul Costa. Grabbed that ball just before he went out of bounds down on the San Diego 22-yard line. A 22-yard play. And a first and 10 to go now for Buffalo. For a big man, George, this Costa has amazing agility.
Catches the ball very well, too. At several occasions now this afternoon, or at least twice, he has taken the ball away from defenders on that play, and once earlier in the game he was pretty well covered, but just took the ball away from the defenders. Of course, he's a big man, can get up in the air pretty high.
Roberson wide to the left, Kwiatkowski wide to the right, and they give the ball off to Billy Joes, caught by Ernie Ladd, and it's the end of the line for as far as Billy Joes' progress is concerned, as Ernie Ladd grabbed him. Billy Joe is moving forward, but
The lad just kind of wrestled him backwards, and they're going to call it no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 to go now. Buffalo on the San Diego 22-yard line. No score in the American Football League Championship Game with 6 minutes left to go in the half. Buffalo, which took the opening kickoff, picked up 2 first downs, had a pass intercepted. Later on, San Diego marched 61 yards, tried an unsuccessful field goal. Now Buffalo threatening with a 2nd and 10 at the charge at 22. They have Roberson flanked to the right. The end's in close. Give the ball off straight ahead to Ray Carlton, the fullback, who goes to the 18-yard line. George Gross in there to stop the play, along with Ernie Ladd.
And the Buffalo Bills continue to play a bit more conservative football than San Diego with regard to their offense anyway. We notice Ernie Warlick coming back in for Rutkowski. They've been alternating quite a bit on plays. It would appear that they're bringing plays in from the sidelines because they go over there and stand next to Lou Saban, who is on the phones talking to assistant coaches up in the press box. So I think in this series of downs, Lou Saban has called quite a few of the plays by alternating Rutkowski and Warlick.
3rd down, 6 to go for the Bills on the San Diego 18-yard line. Roberson wide to the right. Jack Kemp fading to pass. Looks the field over, throws in the goal. Underneath the goal post for a touchdown. A touchdown to Ernie Warlick, who had just come in for Rutkowski. And Ernie Warlick right underneath the goalpost grabbed that pass that was lined right in his chest there by Jackie Kemp. And Buffalo scores to make it 6-0. With 4:59 left on the clock here in the half. And, George, there was a beautifully executed forward pass play.
Nice throw, a nice catch, and also fine blocking by the Buffalo offensive line. Jackie Kemp had plenty of time to stand back there and pick out the best receiver, which he did.
Darryl LaMonica now will hold for Pete Gogolak, who was the 2nd leading scorer behind Gino Capoletti of the Patriots. Gogolak puts it up and through the uprights. Pete Gogolak kicks the extra point, and Buffalo moves out in front 7-0 as they drove 60 yards for the first score of the ball game with Ernie Warlick, a real veteran, 8 years in pro ball from North Carolina College, who actually had not played too much the latter half of the season, but with 3 of the Buffalo receivers on the injured list, the latest being Charlie Ferguson. Warlick pressed back in the service today and made a fine reception of Jackie Kemp's pass right underneath the goalpost. So with 4:59 left on the clock, Gogolak will kick off. And as I'm sure most everyone knows, Gogolak, who played his college ball at Cornell, kicks him soccer style. He approaches the ball from a 45-degree angle, hits the ball with his instep. Speedy Duncan and Miller Farr are back to take this one, and he really gets a lot of foot into this one. Farr grabbing the ball 4 yards deep in the end zone, out to the 5, out to the 10-yard line, Farr to the 15, to the 20-yard line, to the 25, still on his feet and is out of bounds as he crosses the 30. A beautiful return by rookie Miller Farr, wrestled out of bounds, finally around the 32-yard line as Gary Turner leading the way through a beautiful block to enable him to get some extra yardage. And the officials will spot the ball at the 30-yard line. Farr, a rookie from the University of Wichita, with a 34-yard return of that kickoff. Now San Diego with a 1st and 10 to go at its own 30-yard line. They have Johnny Hadle in there at quarterback, and now Keith Lincoln has come in for the first time today. He'll be at fullback along with Paul Lowe, and they have Allworth as the only wide receiver to the right side. Johnny Hadle back to pass, looking the field over, has lots of time, throws upfield, and it's incomplete, intended for Don Norton, almost intercepted by Butch Bird, the right cornerback for Buffalo.
Good defensive job by Bird. He was right there on Norton. The Chargers appeared to have confused their pass pattern a bit as Norton and Dave Kosurik, the other end, ended up right next to each other downfield. Of course, on a pass pattern, you should never have 2 receivers next to each other. They should spread out so that if one is not open, he cannot be covered, or the same defensive man cannot cover 2 receivers downfield. But that time, Kosurik and Norton were very close together.
This time they're in their trips right with 3 receivers to the right side. Hadle back to throw. Runs out to the right now at the 25. He throws on the run, and it is caught beautifully by Lance Allworth at the 45. A diving reception by Lance Allworth, who was the wide receiver on the right side. Up to the 45-yard line, and a first down on a 15-yard play there to Lance Allworth.
Once again, one of these pass patterns where San Diego sends 5 receivers downfield. Buffalo defensive line has been pretty effective in putting pressure on Hadel. One of the reasons being that they have sent quite frequently all 5 eligible receivers downfield, which doesn't leave too many people back to block for the passer.
Hadel dropping quickly back, gives the ball off to Lincoln, who's hit behind the line, gets away, and gets across the 45-yard line before Butch Bird comes up, slows him down, and then Tom Day jumps in there along with the left linebacker, Johnny Tracy. Keith Lincoln, who's had an injured knee, just got into the ball game a few moments ago. Picked up 3 yards after first being hit behind the line of scrimmage, but got away and picked up 3 yards to make it 2nd down and 7 now for San Diego at its own 48. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Buffalo, a 1-touchdown underdog, leading in the ball game now 7-0. Johnny Hadel. The long count there was in trouble, and the safety blitz was on. George Sames, the safety man, rushed in there, and then Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker, came through to put the tackle actually on Johnny Hadel back at the 34-yard line. George, that Sames is one of the best at that safety blitz.
And he got in there a rather unusual way that time, because usually when the safety man comes up and blitzes or rushes the passer, he will come up the middle. But that time, Sames came all the way around from his right side, so that when he went in and went after Hadel, Hadel couldn't see him coming. He hit Hadel from the blind side.
A loss of 14 yards on the play makes it 3rd and 21 to go. Back at the 34-yard line, they're in the triple receiver formation with 3 men to the right side. Everybody going out, and Hadel back to pass, fires one up the middle, almost intercepted by Bird up at the midfield stripe. Don Norton was the intended receiver. The ball sailed out of the reach of Norton, and Bird got his hands on it but couldn't quite hang on. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. From Balboa Stadium, San Diego, California, this is Herb Carneal with George Ratterman. Buffalo leading San Diego 7-0 in the American Football League Championship Game. 4th and 21 for the Chargers. Johnny Hadel standing back on his 20-yard line. Butch Bird and Ed Rutkowski are back as the receivers. And here's a high, twisting spiral kick. It'll give the men plenty of time to cover, but Bird grabs the ball, runs up the right sidelines from the 30 to the 35. He's across midfield, down into San Diego territory, across the 40 to the 20, the 10, the 5, and Bird scores for Buffalo. A tremendous run right down the right sidelines by Butch Bird, and Buffalo now leads 13-0, and George had no more than gotten the words out of my mouth, but I thought that was a kick that would give the men pretty good opportunity to cover there for San Diego.
It was a fine kick by Hadel in that it was nice and high, so his people had time to get down under the ball, but Bird took it, and in just about 2 steps he was past all of that first line that came down. Then he ran the ball very intelligently because Hadel had a crack at him, so Bird just waited for one of his offensive blockers to get in front of him and wipe Hadel out of the play.
With LaMonica holding, Pete Gogolak kicks the extra point, and now Buffalo has taken a 14-0 lead with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go here in the first half. So an amazing turn of events here as Buffalo they credit Bird with a 74-yard return officially, 74 yards on the touchdown by Butch Bird, who grabbed that ball and appeared to be hemmed in as he grabbed the ball between the sideline and the right hash mark. He didn't have too much room to run to his right, but he slipped through there, got down the right sidelines, and went all the way. So Buffalo leading 14-0 with 2:29 to go. Now will kick off. Gogolak will boot it down to either Speedy Duncan or Miller Farr, standing at the goal line for San Diego. A driving kick that goes right behind the goalpost, and Duncan will not run it out. He was halfway back in the end zone. It'll be a touchback. So San Diego will take over first and 10 to go at its own 20-yard line. Buffalo, which has scored 2 touchdowns here within 2.5 minutes after the two teams had battled well into the second quarter, 0-0. The Bills have a 14-0 advantage. Don Norton will be moving out wide to the left this time for San Diego. Allworth wide to the right. Lincoln and Lowe the backs. And Hale fires one down the field. Intercepted at the 32-yard line by Jacobs, who's knocked down at the 20. Don Norton knocked him off his feet as Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker, a 6-year veteran from Bradley, intercepts for Buffalo and brings the ball back from the 32 back to the 20-yard line. So Buffalo has another scoring chance. A little over 2 minutes to go in the first half. And Buffalo with a 1st and 10 to go on the San Diego 20. Harry Jacobs with the interception. Each team has had an interception today. Jim Warren intercepted one earlier for San Diego. Two teams now are getting the 2-minute warning. Two minutes left to go in the first half, and Buffalo, a 1-touchdown underdog in the 6th Annual American Football League Championship Game, now leading by a score of 14-0 on an 18-yard touchdown pass to Ernie Warlick, and then the 74-yard punt return by Butch Bird. Not too often, George, do you see a team return a punt for long distance, but I know the pros actually do work at that quite a bit, and there was a case that certainly paid off for Buffalo.
Bird had fine blocking on the play, and he did a very effective job of avoiding the sidelines. As you say, he caught the ball between the sideline and the hash mark and never did get outside the hash mark. He ran over toward the sideline, skipped right down it on 1 or 2 occasions. It appeared as if he was going to be pushed out of bounds, and it almost looked as if he had stepped very close to the sideline over there. They did a very fine job, and then he got down to the last offender, John Hadel, who had kicked the ball, was the only man remaining between him and the goal line, and so Bird slowed down, let one of his blockers get up there in front of him, and just more or less toyed with Hadel. He faked one way, let the blocker take him that way, and then cut back toward the sideline, ran into the end zone. But a very intelligent run, you might say, by Bird.
Bills with a 1st and 10 to go on the San Diego 20-yard line, 2 minutes to go in a half. They have Billy Joe and Ray Carlton, the setbacks. Jackie Kemp, the quarterback. They use Roberson as a flanker to the right side. Here's Kemp dropping back. Throws here out to Ray Carlton, but it's incomplete. He was bum-tired there by the right linebacker, Frank Bunkum. They went for the ball, so it'll be an incomplete pass, making it 2nd and 10 now for the Bills on the San Diego 20. Witkowski coming in, and early Warlick going out for Buffalo. Warlick, who caught the touchdown pass to break open the scoring ice here for Buffalo this afternoon.
And again, it appears as Witkowski and Warlick change positions on every play that they are bringing plays in from the sideline. It appears that Lou Saban is calling these plays from the sidelines, alternating Witkowski and Warlick to do so.
2nd and 10 for Buffalo from the Chargers' 20-yard line. And Kemp gives the ball off to Billy Joe, who tries the right side, and he is knocked down before he gets to the 15-yard line. Picked up 2 or 3 yards on the play. Nailed by George Gross and Kenny Graham. Law with Dick Deegan, the left linebacker. A gain of 3 makes it 3rd and 7 for Buffalo, but of course they are very much in field goal range right now. Buffalo is going to take a timeout.
They have called a timeout, and Jackie Kemp called the timeout, and he has now gone over to the sidelines to talk to his coach, Lou Saban, probably wanting to discuss with him whether to go for the touchdown by throwing a pass down toward the end zone on this play, or since it's 3rd down, trying to get the ball in better field position for a field goal attempt on the next down. The ball is on one of the hash marks, and perhaps they would like to run it out so it would be directly in the middle of the field, which would give Gogolak a much better angle should they want to try the field goal on the next down. Ball's on the 16-yard line, between the 16 and the 17-yard line, so it's within what you'd say would be easy field goal range for Gogolak. He perhaps, though, would like to have a better angle.
Incidentally, it's now been verified that on that 74-yard punt return by Buffalo's Butch Bird, it is a new American Football League record for distance on a punt return. 74-yard return by Butch Bird, a new championship game record in the American Football League. Third down and 7 here for Buffalo. They're on the San Diego 17-yard line. Time remaining 1 minute and 34 seconds of the first half. Buffalo, which has had to make several changes, including one on the opening kickoff today when their great offensive guard and offensive captain, Billy Shaw, was hurt. So they have Joe O'Donnell and George Flint, who played all year as backup man, and at the guards with Al B. Miller at center. Open formation in the backfield, and Kemp going to his left in trouble, and the blitz was on there by San Diego, and the pass is thrown down to the 5, incomplete. Paul Costa was the intended receiver. San Diego blitzed its right linebacker, Frank Bunkum, and Kemp had to get rid of that ball in a hurry or lose a good chunk of yardage. So with 4th and 7 now from the 17, the ball still at the right hash mark. Gogolak is going to try a field goal from the 24, from the right hash mark. Wind hardly enough to be a factor right now. Gogolak, who set a new league record for field goals, he kicked 28 this year. And the kick is away. It's partially blocked, rolling into the end zone. It was partially blocked by Speedy Duncan, who normally plays right cornerback, but he is exceptionally fast. And, George, he's usually the type of fellow you try to get in there to block those kicks. And that was a very important play for the Chargers, too, because a successful field goal then, of course, would have put Buffalo ahead by 17 points, meaning that the Chargers would need at least 3 scores, 2 touchdowns and the field goal to get back in this ball game. So there's a big difference between 17-0 and 14-0. Chargers still have 1 minute and 25 seconds here in the first half to see if they can get on the scoreboard now. And they still have 3 timeouts left, the Chargers do. So, you know, in pro football, 1 minute and 25 seconds can enable a club to move a long way. This is Lowe going to his left on a wide sweep. He gets out of one tackle but runs into trouble and is down at the 25-yard line. Nailed by Tom Day, the right end. 5-yard pickup for Paul Lowe after the 25-yard line. Second down, 5 to go with the ball at San Diego's 25-yard line. They're now going to bring Jack McKinnon in to replace Don Norton, who was shaken up on the last play. So Jack McKinnon, who played his college ball at Colgate University, will come in and replace Don Norton. And during the timeout, John Hadel, the Chargers quarterback, came over to the sidelines to talk to Sid Gilman to decide just what plays they would go with here in the closing minutes of the first half. We might mention that both of the running backs in the backfield for San Diego right now, Lincoln and Lowe, are both very effective passers. Now, we've seen Lowe run wide quite a few times so far in the ballgame. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd come back along about here and have him fake the end run and try to hit Allworth deep downfield. They have Kosurik as the split end to the left now and flank Allworth to the right as Hadel goes back to pass, throws down the middle, and it's incomplete. At the 30-yard line, intended for Jack McKinnon, and he was covered very well by the left linebacker, John Tracy, on the play. One of the officials, I believe the umpire there, got dumped as he was trying to get a close look at that play. And 2 players collided with it. So it'll be 3rd and 5 now for San Diego at the 25-yard line. Buffalo leading by a score of 14-0 here in the American Football League Championship game with 1 minute 14 to go in the first half. San Diego Moving up to the line of scrimmage now. They have Allworth flanked wide to the right. 3rd and 5 to go as Johnny Hadle calls the signals. Dropping straight back for a 4. Winding up and throwing long downfield. Allworth at the 42 goes to the 45, and he is hit on a jolting tackle by Mike Stratton. The right linebacker really put his shoulder into Lance Allworth that time, but only after Allworth moves out to the 47-yard line. The 22-yard gain on a 1st and 10 to go for San Diego.
And a beautiful pass pattern that time by the Chargers as Kosuric and McKinnon went deep down the field, cleared out the zone, you might say, and Allworth from his flanker position then cut in over the middle into the zone that had been cleared by the other 2 receivers. He was wide open about 20 yards downfield, and Hadle got the ball to him right on the run. Beautiful pass by John Hadle.
Chargers taking the timeout here with 1 minute and 3 seconds left to go. So actually, they have moved 27 yards now in only 22 seconds. 1 minute, 3 seconds left to go. They have 1 timeout remaining, the Chargers do here in the first half. San Diego, which has been able to muster only 1 scoring threat, and that was a field goal attempt in the second quarter that was partially blocked by Tom Sestak and Mike Stratton. The 6th annual American Football League Championship Game. San Diego in it for the 5th time, or at least the Chargers, who started out in the American League at Los Angeles. Buffalo playing in it for the 2nd time, and of course the Bills are defending league champions. Johnny Hadle dropping back to throw. Decides he'll run it. He's at midfield, looking for someone to lateral to. He's at the 45-yard line. Spins away from another tackle, goes to the 40 before Harry Jacobs can put the stopper on him. A 14-yard line by Johnny Hadle. Moves it down to the Buffalo 40-yard line. Now a timeout by the Chargers with 52 seconds left, and that exhausts the number of timeouts remaining now for San Diego here in the first half. 1st and 10 to go at the Buffalo 40.
Hadle can run with the ball pretty effectively. He's not only a good passer, but he knows how to carry it himself. On a couple of occasions in the first quarter of the game, he appeared to be having some difficulty with his footing. They've had some rain in recent weeks here in San Diego, and the footing is just a little loose down there, and Hadle slipped a couple of times in the first quarter when he was trying to run with the ball. Made me think that perhaps at halftime he would go in and put on longer cleats on his football shoes. However, that time, he didn't seem to have any difficulties. He went downfield and picked up 13 yards for the first down.
Hadle has been over on the sidelines talking with Coach Sid Gilman. The Chargers occupying the bench directly below us, and the Bills on the far side of the field. 1st and 10 to go for San Diego on the Buffalo 40 with 52 seconds left to go and no more timeouts for San Diego. Kosuric wide to the left. Johnny Hadle dropping back to pass, throws to his flare man, Paul Lowe at the line of scrimmage. Tom Day is after him, and then John Tracy runs him out of bounds on the far side after a gain of just a yard or so. But Lowe did manage to get out of bounds to stop the clock with 46 seconds remaining in the first half.
Lowe started to head downfield and realized he wasn't going to get very far because a couple of the Bills had him penned in over there, so he very obviously just headed for the sidelines, making sure he would get out of bounds so that he could stop the clock. The Chargers have used up all of their timeouts now, so the only way they can stop the clock is by carrying the ball out of bounds or by a pass being incomplete downfield.
Although very nearly got away for a touchdown run, went 47 yards on a run in the ball game earlier. That time was a pass receiver. Now here's Hadle dropping back again, looking downfield, throws, and it's caught beautifully by Jack McKinnon at the 30-yard line. Looks like it'll be enough for a first down for San Diego, but they have no more timeouts left with a half minute to go in the first half. They spot the ball at the 29-yard line, which gives San Diego its third first down. They have moved all the way from their own 20, and here's a sideline pass to Dave Kosuric, who's out of bounds with the 26. San Diego didn't even bother to huddle, and Joe George, that's a play you see the pros using more and more.
See it quite frequently at the end of a half or at the end of the ball game when they have run out of timeouts and they have had a completed pass downfield. They will just line up without a huddle, and they have this automatic play where the flankers on each side will just go down about 3 steps and break toward the sideline. Passer will try to hit them just as they go out of bounds, and if they're not open, the passer will just throw it over their heads out of bounds. The main purpose of the play being not to gain yardage, but just to stop the clock.
Ends in tight, Allworth a flank to the right. And they give the ball off to Keith Lincoln back at the 30-yard line. He's down to the 25-yard line, and he's hit by Bird and 2 or 3 other of the Bills. Tom Day coming in there, along with Harry Jacobs. There's Keith Lincoln. Moves just to the 24, a 2-yard gain. 5 seconds left to go. They're going to try a 31-yard field goal from the left hash mark. Trevino puts it up, and it is wide to the left. No good. With Darnbro holding the ball, Trevino's kick sailed wide to the left. They really have to hurry to try to get that kick away before the gun went off, ending the first half. So that is the end of the first half, and the score is Buffalo 14, San Diego nothing.
The score is the Buffalo Bills 14, San Diego nothing. And our halftime guest, whom we'd like to welcome at this time, is Joe Foss, the commissioner of the American Football League. Joe, we're finishing the 6th year now of play in the American League, and of course you're finishing your 6th year as commissioner. You're pretty happy with the progress you've made in these 6 years?
Well, George, we've made our best progress this past season. We're up at the end of the season now 23%. This is the 3rd year in a row that we've had an increase in our attendance of over 20%. So things are really looking up.
Well, and with the new stadiums being built in the different cities in the American Football League, I would imagine we could continue to see a rise in attendance in the future.
Well, next year, moving into the new stadium in Oakland, that will give us a big boost. And then here at San Diego now that they've voted to have a new stadium here that should be ready in 2 years. And improvement on all of the other stadiums, we're really going to show a great increase for the next 3-4 years for certain.
And then you'll come in with the big stadium in Miami next year, the 9th team in the league down there.
That's right. With the great stadium there, it should mean a big increase. And, of course, we're trying to get a stadium at Boston. That's one that it looks like we will get, but it's probably 4 or 5 years away yet.
I believe they're talking about a dome stadium up there, aren't they, Joe?
Yes, and a stadium that's really built for football, sort of a complex with a sliding roof, and that should make it really a sports center of the world when it comes right down to it. They want to give our friends in New York a little competition. And of course, with the great Shea Stadium there, one of these days they'll fill it in the gap there out in center field that will give us an additional 17,500 seats that we can use, and due to the fact that we've been playing to capacity crowds there this past season.
They've really taken sellouts there. Joe, you've added a 9th franchise to the league with the Miami Dolphins coming in. I believe there are plans then for the following year, the 1967 season, to bring a 10th franchise in. Is that right?
Right. I would say now that we've got Miami off and running, and they've been doing a great job on signing, and their season ticket campaign will start immediately after the first of the year. As we mentioned, going into the Orange Bowl, that should really make it a top-notch franchise. The 10th team should be named early in 1966. We'll probably discuss it at the annual meeting at Houston, the 16th of January, but I don't look for any definite action to be taken at that time. We'll probably do our preliminary work, and then sometime early in the spring have another meeting, at which time we will decide exactly where that 10th team will be.
Well, Joe, I know you have some other duties here at halftime, so we want to thank you for stopping by and visiting with us. And also we want to congratulate you on the fine job you've done for the past 6 years as commissioner of the American Football League.
I've enjoyed it, and it's been made possible by all of the great fans that have turned up at the stadiums and those that have listened and watched us from the time that we started. It took a lot of people that had a lot of fond thoughts of us and that thought we'd make a go of it. And we've acquired these fans more and more each year. And my thanks to them all, and a very happy New Year to them.
Thank you, Joe. We'll be back with more color in just a minute.
Here in the second half, Buffalo will be kicking off. They receive the opening kickoff. Both teams now loosening up along the sidelines. Don't know whether George had an opportunity to mention it, but at the half, some helicopters flew overhead and showered about 10,000 carnations down on Balboa Stadium.
I think San Diego is known as the Carnation City of the United States. Quite a display they put on here at halftime with the helicopters dropping the carnations on the people.
Last week here in the game with Oakland, they had helicopters fly over and drop down about 10,000 leaflets on which were the words, "Beat Buffalo." And this created a little problem for the groundskeepers as whoever let those leaflets drop out of the helicopters were off target a little bit, and a lot of them landed right on the playing field, so they had to wait a couple of minutes to get the field cleaned up.
Notice Commissioner Joe Foss has gone down to the field. He's making a presentation down there to Paul Lowe, who was named the most valuable player in the American Football League this year by the players. In fact, we have two most valuable players in the game today because Paul Lowe was named most valuable player by the players. On the other hand, Jackie Kemp, the fine quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, was named to that honor, the most valuable player, by the sports writers and sports announcers who have covered the league this year. So we have both most valuable players in today's ball game.
Pete Gogolak now teeing up the ball. Buffalo will be defending the goal to our right. Moving back for San Diego, we'll have Miller Farr and Speedy Duncan back along the goal line. $14-0, the Buffalo Bills. A one-touchdown underdog here in the game, but nevertheless leading the Western Division champion San Diego Chargers.
I was surprised to see that Buffalo had passed so much in the first half because we mentioned several times they had been playing more conservative football than San Diego, but we noticed San Diego only threw 17 passes, completed 8 of them, but Buffalo threw 14 passes. I thought there was more of a discrepancy there. It seemed that San Diego was throwing the ball quite a bit more than Buffalo in the first half. Buffalo has given Jackie Kemp a lot of time to throw the ball. They've done a good job in protecting for the passer. Several times the Buffalo defenders have been able to get through and either get to John Hadel of the Chargers or force him to hurry his throws. That may be due to the fact that the Chargers have been sending more receivers downfield. Buffalo has stayed more or less with the standard pass offense where they send 3 receivers downfield on most plays, occasionally 4. There were quite a few of the pass plays in the first half when San Diego sent all 5 of their eligible receivers downfield.
And Hadel, of course, sending all those men out as receivers, has been doing a lot of rolling out or running, but I'm sure that the Bills have been able to get to him more often today than they have by far in their 2 previous meetings in the regular season in 1965.
Of course, Buffalo is known for its great defensive line. They have 4 fine football players up there on the defensive line, and they're doing their usual fine job this afternoon.
Gogolak moving back now, take about a 6-yard approach. Gogolak kicks off for Buffalo. A line drive type of a kick, hits on the 10, bounces back to the 5-yard line. Duncan at the 5 to the 10. Speedy Duncan dodging his way across the 15-yard line is flattened by Tom Yannick. Number 27, Tom Yannick and Bill Lasky. So it'll be 1st and 10 to go for San Diego on the 18-yard line. As Gogolak's kickoff was low and a very hard kick, and it hit the ground, bounced a little bit, giving the Buffalo defenders good time to get down there and pick up Duncan before he could get on track. Johnny Hadel at quarterback has Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe behind him. Allworth flanked to the left, and here's a quick pitch to Lowe around the left side. It's the line of scrimmage, tries to turn in, but he is nailed behind the line by about a yard. Jim Dunaway, number 78, got in there, along with Mike Stratton, the right linebacker, and underneath the stack there for Buffalo is the left linebacker, Johnny Tracy. They lost 2 yards, make it 2nd down and 12 to go for San Diego on the Chargers' 16-yard line. With checking to see if Don Norton is back in the ball game. He is not. He was shaken up. So they have Kasurik and McKinnon at the ends, and Allworth, the flankers, wide to the right this time. Johnny Hadel dropping straight back for a forward pass. Throws up here to the near sidelines. Incomplete. Beautiful play by Haygood Clark, the safety man, to come up fast and bat the ball away from Lance Allworth. As Booker Edgerton and John Tracy were trying to cover Allworth on the play, but it was the strong side safety man, Haygood Clark, who came up to bat the ball away.
Herb, as you mentioned, the Chargers have replaced Don Norton with Jack McKinnon at offensive end. However, they're certainly not hurting by having him in there because he's a big boy, 6'4", weighs 250 pounds, so he makes a fine target on passes. In addition, he can run with the ball very well after he catches it because he plays not only offensive end, but occasionally will substitute at fullback for the Chargers.
This time they're moving Lincoln up in the slot on the right side. And here's a little flare pass to Lowe back at the 15-yard line. Lowe comes out to the 18, and Tom Day flattens him right at the 18-yard line. Tom Day, the right end. It's a crushing tackle on Paul Lowe. It's the second time he's hit Lowe on a very hard tackle in the open field. So it'll be 4th down and 10 to go, and San Diego, unable to move the ball an inch now, will have to boot it away, and they'll have Johnny Hadel back as the kicker. Butch Bird will be on the far side for Buffalo. Edward Kowski on the near side, and the close receiver for the Bills up around midfield will be Haygood Clark. Sam Grenison will snap the ball back to Hadel, who's standing right on his own 4-yard line. He'll hit this one from about the 8. Gets away an end-over-end kick to the far side, and it takes a good bounce. Bird grabs it back on his own 29-yard line. He spins away from one tackle, is at the 25, trying to get away again, and he is knocked down. Dick Harris from McNeese State got down the field there to nail him. Ron Carpenter, another member of San Diego's punt team, was down there actually trying to throw Bird when he got away. So that was a beautiful kick, 57 yards from the line of scrimmage by Johnny Hadel. We've seen some great punting today by McGuire, Buffalo, and Hadel of San Diego. There's timeout on the field now. The score is Buffalo 14 and San Diego nothing. Wide to the right with a 1st and 10 for Buffalo at its own 27. Jackie Kemp, Billy Joe, and Ray Carlin behind him. Kemp's going to throw on 1st down. A long pass downfield for Roberson, and he grabs the ball inside the 30. Run out of bounds by Jim Warren, who apparently thinks Roberson caught the ball out of bounds. Roberson made an over-the-shoulder catch as Kemp led him perfectly down the far sidelines or the right sidelines as Buffalo moves downfield. Roberson caught the ball in stride with Warren right there with him, and Warren was just able to force him out of bounds at the 24-yard line, call it, the 24-yard line.
And it had to be a perfect pass by Jackie Kemp as Roberson was pretty well covered downfield. The defender, Warren, was right with him as he ran downfield, but Kemp laid that ball in there just perfectly.
A fine call there by the Bills on 1st down. They picked up 49 yards on a play. Roberson wide to the left. Ends in tight. Kemp gives the ball to Ray Carlton. Following Joe O'Donnell. He gets a good block as he turns the corner, but is belted out of bounds by Kenny Graham at the 21-yard line. Kenny Graham belting Ray Carlton out of bounds at the 21. A 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 7 to go.
It's interesting to see the Buffalo Bills start the second half with a long pass play with a 14-0 lead. We were sort of curious as to what they might do. Thought they might try to play ball control football and use up as much time as possible, but they came right out with the long bomb. Of course, frequently at halftime, one of the receivers will get in the meeting and say, I can beat this fellow on the deep pattern downfield, so they'll come out and use that on the first play of the second half. That's probably what happened.
Roberson wide to the left. Costa and Warlick, both ends playing in tight. Carlton over right tackle, hit by Chuck Allen, the middle linebacker, and George Gross, the left tackle. He gets inside the 20-yard line to the 17. Another 3 or 4-yard pickup by Ray Carlton. So it'll be third down and about 3 yards to go now for Buffalo on the San Diego 17. 11 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the third period. And it's Buffalo leading 14-0 over San Diego, and the Bills are knocking right at the goal line again here. Only one wide receiver, that's Bo Roberson. Being played over there by Speedy Duncan, the right cornerback. Throwing to Ernie Warlick down the sidelines. He's got it at the 12. Ernie Warlick picks up the first down as the big fellow just went slanted out towards the sidelines, grabbed the ball away from Jim Warren, the cornerback over there, and out of bounds he goes at the 12-yard line. A 5-yard pickup. They only needed 3 yards for the first down. They got 5. A very tough play to stop, George.
Practically impossible if the passer gets the ball to the receiver just as he makes his cut, because the defensive back must be wary. He must watch that the receiver does not fake the little down and out pattern and then take off and go deep downfield.
Buffalo with a 1st and 10 now on the charge at 12. Roberson wide to the left. Kemp gives the ball off to Ray Carlton, cutting back over right tackle, carrying tacklers with him as he goes to the 7-yard line. Dick Diggan, the left linebacker, hauling him down along with Kenny Graham, the safety man. A 4-yard, let's see, wait a minute, they're going to spot it closer to the 6, so make it a 6-yard pickup. Ray Carlton, who has played a great game, running out of the fullback spot today for the Buffalo Bills, moving to the 6-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 4 for the first down, or 6 yards for the Bills to go for the touchdown. The ends, Paul Costa and Ernie Warlick, both playing in close again. Jackie Kemp on the center, calling signals here with a 2nd and 4. Gets the ball, again the same play to Carlton, cuts in, gets across the 5. Goes close to the 4 before those 2 big tackles, Ernie Ladd and George Gross, can stop him at the 4-yard line.
And we see Jackie Kemp moving over toward the sidelines, yelling over there at Lou Saban, and then listening to what Saban has to say, undoubtedly trying to find out just what Saban wants him to do. It's 3rd down and 3 with the ball just about on the 9-yard line. Of course, they would have to make the first down on this play, because if they didn't, undoubtedly they would go for the field goal. So it's quite a decision to decide what play you can come up with that will gain 3 yards down in this tough territory.
Tough indeed, down inside that 5-yard line. 3rd and 2 to go, and they give the ball off to Billy Joe. Puts his head down, bangs over left tackle, and it looks like the Chargers stopped him short of the first down. The defensive line rose up. Earl Payson, George Gross, Frank Bunkum, the right linebacker, was in there. The gain is to the 3. They're going to be short of a first down. It'll be 4th down, about a yard to go, and as George told you, if they missed the first down here, they would probably try for the field goal, and that's exactly what they're going to do, with Pete Gogolak coming in and trying a relatively short one here.
And they have moved the ball to the middle of the field, so he's right in front of the goalpost. The purpose of that last play, I guess, was just to get it away from the hash mark and right out toward the middle of the field, so it should be an easy shot here for Gogolak.
From the 11-yard line, Gogolak with Darryl LaMonica spotting the ball, puts it right through the uprights. Gogolak kicks an 11-yard field goal. And so the Buffalo Bills now take a 17-0 lead. Time left in the third period, 9:21.
This is Ed McMahon, your Saturday afternoon monitor host. Among some recent Sunday night monitor guests was astronaut Scott
by a score of 17-0.
About his latest exploit underwater. Sunday Night Monitor's Frank Blair gets the story. We'd like to talk with you about your most recent activities in your major work. that is Sea-Lab 2, the underwater project off the coast of California. What was the project's purpose, Scott?
It has many purposes, Frank. I think you're probably asking what is the end result of the program, and that is to learn how to sustain men at a depth of 600 feet, which will open up the entire continental shelf to exploitation by the Navy and this country and industry.
We invite your listening participation on Sunday Night Monitor. Join host Frank Blair for news, entertainment, and provocative interviews.
Gogolak kicking off for Buffalo. Speedy Duncan on the 3 to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's out in the open. And Charlie Warner grabs him at midfield and brings him down. Charlie Warner saved the day for Buffalo as Speedy Duncan was on his way. But Warner stayed back there and brought him down on the Buffalo 48-yard line. A 49-yard return for Speedy Duncan, who, as I mentioned earlier, set a new American League record for punt returns this year, breaking Oakland's Claude Gibson's old punt return record of last year. San Diego trailing 17-0 here with a 1st and 10 on the Buffalo 48. Give the ball off to Keith Lincoln, cutting in over left tackle down to the 40-yard line before he's jumped by Ron McDowell, who rode off a block by Jack McKinnon to make the tackle for the Buffalo Bills. A fine defensive play by defensive end Ron McDowell of Buffalo. Keith Lincoln moving to the 38. He got 10 yards. We may have a measurement, and we will. You have to see if they made the first down. First down for San Diego. Keith Lincoln, who was a doubtful performer today because of an knee injury and did not start. Rookie Gene Foster started at fullback, but now Lincoln is in there along with Paul Lowe as the running backs. Allworth flank to the right. They have Jack McKinnon, the end on the right side, about 3 yards off from his tackle. They give the ball off to Lowe, barrels ahead to the 35-yard line, picking up about 3 yards, and nailed there by McDowell again. 5-year veteran from the University of Nebraska. Dunaway also in on the tackle for Buffalo. Second down, 7 to go. 8 minutes left to go in the third period here at San Diego, and the Chargers trailing Buffalo by 17-0. Same formation with Allworth, the flanker, to the right side. A fumble. It's recovered by Johnny Hadle. On the attempted handoff there, the ball popped loose, but Hadle quickly fell on it, losing a couple of yards in the process. John Tracy was right there on the play for Buffalo, but Hadle recovers the fumble. So it'll be 3rd down, 9 to go now for San Diego on the Buffalo 37. A ball directly between the sideline markers. Shadows of the stands now beginning to creep out over the near side of the field, almost out to the hash mark. But a beautiful day here with a temperature around 60 degrees, just a light breeze. Allworth wide to the right as they send Johnny Hadle back deep for a long forward. Decides to run at the 35 to the 30-yard line. And down he goes on the 28, tripped up by Tom Day and Harry Jacobs and Mike Stratton.
And once again, Hadle appeared to lose his footing a bit as he tried to avoid tacklers downfield. That happened several times in the first half when he went back to pass and decided to run with the ball. Started downfield, and his feet slipped out from under him when he tried to cut. So once again in the second half, we see that the turf is just a little too slippery for John Hadle as he tries to run downfield.
Hadle picked him 9 yards, but he's going to be about a foot and a half shy of the first down. About a half yard to go for the first down here with a 4th down coming up. 6 3/4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. 4th down, a half yard to go for San Diego on the Buffalo 28-yard line. They'll keep the ends in and put Allworth wide to the right. Keith Lincoln And Paul Lowe set now behind Johnny Hadle. Hadle on a fake. And he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage. Johnny Tracy, the left linebacker, got in there, along with Tom Sestak. And they dropped him back at the 36-yard line.
And there appeared to be quite a mix-up in the San Diego backfield as Hadle turned around, obviously looking for a back to hand it off to, but there was nobody there, so an apparent mix-up in the San Diego backfield. That's the second time in that series of plays. Earlier in the series, they had a fumble on an attempted handoff, so the San Diego boys are going to have to regroup over on the sidelines and get their signal straight.
Buffalo will take over, and they spot the ball on the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bills. They'll send Roberson wide to the left. Buffalo with a 17-0 lead. 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the third period. Jackie Kemp pitches the ball back to Carlton, gets a block from Joe O'Donnell, comes up to the 35-yard line. Earl Faison. Ernie Ladd flattened him right there as he crossed the 35-yard line. Be a gain of a couple of yards. Make it 2nd down and 8 to go. Ray Carlton, who has run the ball very strongly today for the Buffalo Bills. Let's call it a 3-yard pickup on the play out at the 37-yard line. 2nd and 7 to go. Bo Roberson moving out wide to the left. They'll have Paul Costa and Ernie Warlick, the other two receivers, along the line, both in close to the tackles. Kemp gives the ball off to Carlton. There's a hole over the right side, and the penalty flag has gone down as Carlton gets out to the 40 before George Gross brings him down. But holding is called against Buffalo. This is the first penalty, I believe, called against Buffalo today. There have been 2 holding penalties against San Diego and 2 now against, and 1 against Buffalo. It's only the 3rd penalty all told in the game today. All for the same violation, holding. And this will cost Buffalo 15 yards. So they'll spot the ball on the 21-yard line. 2nd down, 23 yards to go now for Buffalo back on the 21-yard line with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Buffalo's interior line, Stu Barber and Dick Hudson are the tackles. Joe O'Donnell and George Splint the guards, and Al B. Miller at center. This time they move Eddie Rutkowski as they end split wide to the left and flank Roberson the other way. Kemp back to pass with long yardage. Throws down the field deep, and it's caught beautifully by Roberson at the 40. He was wide open across the 45-yard line before he's wrestled down by Kenny Graham. As Roberson again beat his man over there, cornerman Jim Warren. So it'll be a first down for Buffalo as the gain carries them out to the 48-yard line, a 37-yard gain on the play. Good pattern there, George, by Roberson.
Roberson's been doing a fine job all afternoon and getting himself open downfield. Of course, he has tremendous speed, and they have to always worry about his taking off and going deep. But he's been doing a good job of getting open, and Jackie Kemp has been doing a fine job of getting the ball to him just as he makes his break.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Buffalo coming up with a big play there to get out of their own territory. Here's Billy Joe around left end to the 50, across the 50 and down to the 45 before Bud Whitehead and Speedy Duncan run him out of bounds. Billy Joe running out of the halfback spot today for Buffalo, turns the left corner, moves it down into San Diego territory, and they'll spot the ball right at the 45-yard line, a pickup of 7 yards. 2nd down, 3 to go for Buffalo, which is leading by 17-0. They scored twice in the second period on a pass to Ernie Warlick for the first touchdown, and then on a 74-yard punt return by Butch Bird, and in this quarter a field goal by Pete Gogolak.
And again, we notice Warlick replacing Rutkowski as he brings in a play from Coach Saban on the sidelines, immediately goes into the huddle and relays his information to Jackie Kemp.
With Warlick and Costa as the ends, they play them in tight, and they put Roberson out wide to the right, and here's Billy Joe trying to go for yardage. He's caught from behind by Ernie Ladd after a gain of just a couple of yards. Got to the 43 before Ernie Ladd leaped on his back and pulled him down with an assist over there from Dick Deegan, the left linebacker.
Bills have a lot of power in their backfield now with Billy Joe and Ray Carlton. Undoubtedly, they would like to keep the ball on the ground if they can, because each running play will take up about 25 or 30 seconds, and with a 17-0 lead, they'd like to use up as much time as possible. Both of these backs are also fine blockers, which is one of the reasons Jackie Kemp has had such fine protection this afternoon when he went back to pass.
Billy Shaw, the left guard who was hurt on the opening kickoff for Buffalo, now has returned to the ball game and is in there at left guard. And here's Joe hit on a jolting tackle. They're going to play it close to the vest, and they'll put Paul McGuire in there to boot it. Speedy Duncan and Kenny Graham moving back as the receivers. Graham on the near side, Duncan on the far side. Paul McGuire, who played his college ball at the Citadel. Boots it over this way towards Graham, who's watching the ball hit on the 5. It's going to be jumped on by Warner down on the 1. Charlie Warner covered that ball on the 1-yard line. George, you can't do much better than that.
No, it almost appeared that he hit a 9-iron shot in there, because the ball came down just about on the 1 with a bit of backspin, stopped, and Warner was right there to grab it before it had a chance to go into the end zone.
There's time out on the field with a score. Buffalo 17, San Diego nothing. George Ratterman from San Diego as the Chargers take over on their 1-yard line. Halo back from the end zone. He's going to throw that ball. Lobs it way upfield, and it is intercepted by Bird back on the 45-yard line of San Diego. Back to the 40, 35, 30, 25, and pushed out of bounds by Paul Lowe. Dave Kasurik, the intended receiver, but Bird circling around him, grabbed the ball on the run, and carries it back to the 23-yard line before Paul Lowe can push him out of bounds. So Butch Bird is having himself quite an afternoon for Buffalo. He returned a punt 74 yards and a touchdown in the second quarter. Now he intercepts a pass and brings it back about 25 yards to the Charger 23-yard line. Buffalo with a 1st and 10 to go. Time left in the third quarter, 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Ed Rutkowski will be a receiver wide to the right and Roberson to the left. Rutkowski actually has a flanker over on the right side as Kemp calls the signals. A good fake in there to Carlton. Kemp back to pass. In trouble as he's chased by Petrich, and down he goes. Fumbles the ball, but the whistle had blown. George Gross calling it. But Bob Petrich was in there to make the tackle. The right end from West Texas State. Bob Petrich made the tackle. And although Kemp fumbled the ball, the whistle had blown. So Buffalo retains possession back at the 32-yard line. A 9-yard loss makes it 2nd and 19 to go.
We noticed Jackie Kemp go over and talk to Paul Costa, his tight end, as Costa comes back to the huddle. Evidently, Costa had not run the pass pattern as Kemp thought he should have run it. That sometimes happens when a passer goes back and he expects to find a receiver in a certain spot and he's not there. It can be a bit embarrassing. Probably the reason Jackie Kemp had to run with the ball on that play.
Strong right formation. Roberson flank right and delay of the game. Wait a minute. Let's see. Nope, they're just waiting for the crowd to quiet down here. That's the reason they call timeout on the field. Officials timeout. Buffalo with a 2nd and 19 from the San Diego 32-yard line. Buffalo leading 70-0 with a minute to go in the third period. Crowd starts to boo again. They're booing, of course, at last play. They thought it should have been ruled a fumble. But the officials said the whistle had blown. Kemp calling signals. Dropping back to pass, looking for Roberson, who breaks to the outside and slips, and the pass is overthrown. Right now, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification.
WGY, WGFM, your General Electric stations Schenectady.
As George has mentioned a couple of times that the field is just a little bit slippery, and on that pass pattern, as Roberson cut to the sidelines, he slipped and went down. Pete Mills is now in there, and he'll be a flanker to the right side for the Bills with Rutkowski split left. Kemp back to pass. The blitz is on. He throws deep downfield, and it's incomplete. Intending for Mills, Frank Buncombe, the right linebacker, blitzing on the play for San Diego. This makes it 4th and 19 for Buffalo. And Gogolak now is coming in, and he's going to try a field goal from the 39 or 40-yard line.
And the 9-yard loss by Jackie Kemp on first down when he was caught back there trying to pass could hurt Buffalo a bit, because now Gogolak will have to try the field goal from the 39-yard line. Had they not lost the 9 yards on first down, why, he could have tried it from about the 30-yard line.
Al Biemiller will snap it back. Darryl LaMonica will spot it from the left hash mark. Gogolak kicks it. It's high enough and far enough, and it is good. The kick is good. A 39-yard field goal by Pete Gogolak, which puts the Bills ahead now by a score of 20-0 with 45 seconds left to go in the third period. Still the outstanding place kickers in the ball game today, Gogolak of Buffalo and Herb Trevino of the San Diego Chargers. Gogolak and Trevino, who finished 2-3 in the scoring race this year, which again was led by Gino Cappelletti of the Boston Patriots. Gogolak, who set a new American Football League record, kicking 28 field goals this year, erasing the old record of 27 held by Gene Mingo. Miller far, and Speedy Duncan back now as Gogolak prepares to kick off. He'll be booting from our right to left. He approaches the ball from the 45-degree angle and booms it down there near the goal. And it's fumbled into the end zone by Duncan, who can touch it down and does. It'll be a touchback. San Diego will take over 1st and 10 to go at the 20-yard line. Buffalo now with a 20-0 lead. There was no scoring for the first 25 minutes of the ball game, and then Ernie Warlick caught an 18-yard touchdown pass from Jackie Kemp. And a couple of minutes later, Butch Bird of Buffalo returned to punt 74 yards for a score. And in this third quarter, Pete Gogolak has kicked field goals of 11 yards and 39 yards. So San Diego now with Allworth wide to the left, as Hadel dropping straight back for a forward pass from the 10-yard line. He flips it right over the middle, and it's incomplete. It hit the ground in front of the intended receiver, Dave Kasurik, up at the 35-yard line. 2nd and 10 for San Diego, back at its own 20.
Pressure was put on Hadel that time by Ron McDowell, and apparently that's the reason he threw the ball short, because he had to back away to make sure he wasn't hit before he threw it. And in backing away, it caused him to throw the ball just a bit short of the receiver.
Buffalo still rushing 4 men up front. McDowell, Dunaway, Sestak, and now Day has gone out of the game, so actually they're only going to rush 3 linemen on this play. Hadel, back to pass, in trouble. Gets away at the 20, 25-yard line, and Tracy hauls him down. Sestak almost nailed him back around the 15-yard line, but Hadel spun away and got out to the 28-yard line before he was brought down by Tracy for an 8-yard pickup. Make it 3rd down and 2 to go.
Buffalo linebackers and secondary have done an exceptional job this afternoon in tackling in the open field on the few occasions when the San Diego runners have broken loose, why they've been very effective in stopping them before they could go for long gains.
And that is the end of the third quarter with a score of Buffalo 20, San Diego nothing.
Balboa Stadium, San Diego, California. This is Herb Carneal along with George Ratterman. The 6th Annual American Football League Championship Game as we start the 4th period. The underdog Buffalo Bills leading by a score of 20-0 over San Diego, and the Chargers now with a 3rd and 2 from their own 28-yard line. One wide receiver, that's Lance Allworth, to the left. And they give the ball off to Lincoln as the flag goes down. He's tripped up beautifully by Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker. There was illegal procedure against San Diego, but since they gained nothing on the play, Buffalo obviously will decline the penalty and force San Diego into the punt situation here with 4th down coming up.
It appeared that Buffalo was offside on the play, but apparently the penalty is against San Diego. I guess one of their offensive linemen moved before the ball was snapped, which caused the Buffalo Bills to go offside. Of course, the offensive linemen must remain stationary. They cannot give any false starts or fake starts in an effort to draw the defensive lineman offside.
Good open field tackle on that last play by Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker. Played his college ball at Bradley. Officials will allow Lincoln's forward motion up to about the 29, a real short yard gained on the play. So it's going to be 4th down, 1 yard to go. And San Diego is going to gamble here. They will try to go for the first down, trailing 20-0 early in the 4th period. From their own 29-yard line, they're going for the 1 yard. Buffalo closing up its defense. They give the ball to Paul Lowe wide around the left side. He cuts in and slips, and I do not think he made it. Paul Lowe slipped as he tried to cut in, circling left in, and did not get up to the 30-yard line. He picked up just about a half yard.
And I think he would have made it had he not slipped there. He had a couple of blockers ahead of him. It appeared that they could clear enough of a path, at least for him to make the first down, but he definitely lost his footing as he tried to cut and head upfield.
I would certainly agree with that because it appeared that Lowe would be able to pick up at least 2 or 3 yards and maybe more, but he just slipped as he tried to cut there. San Diego requested the measurement anyway, but they missed the first down by a good half yard. So Buffalo will take over 1st and 10 to go at the 30-yard line as the gamble by the Chargers misfired, and Buffalo now has a first down on the Charger 30 with 14 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the game, and Buffalo leading by 20 points.
And important for Buffalo, they're once again down in field goal range, so if they can't score a touchdown here, they're close enough for Pete Gogolak to have a good try at it.
The ends in tight. Ernie Warlick and Paul Costa. Roberson flank to the right. They give the ball off to Billy Joe, following Joe O'Donnell. Trying to cut in. Goes to the 25. Billy Joe still driving across the 20 before he's brought down. Dick Diggin, Kenny Graham, and Chuck Allen all down there for San Diego. Another determined run there, this time by Billy Joe. Those 2 running backs for Buffalo, Billy Joe and Ray Carlton, have really been running hard today, and that time Joe picked up 11 yards to the 19, where it's 1st and 10 to go for the Bills. San Diego, with its defensive unit in there, has Earl Faison, George Gross, Ernie Ladd, and Bob Petvich up front. Ends in tight again for Buffalo with Roberson flanked wide to the right. Jackie Kemp calls the signals, gives the ball to Joe, and that same play spins away from one tackle at the 20-yard line. Kenny Graham wrestles him down, though. Right along the line of scrimmage, he may have lost a yard on the play. Good tackle there by Kenny Graham, a safety man coming up. After Joe had been slowed down momentarily behind the line, he ends up with a net loss of 1 yard. So it'll be 2nd and 11 to go. With Billy Shaw being able to return to action here in the second half after being hurt on the opening kickoff, Coach Lou Saban of Buffalo is alternating George Flynn and Joe O'Donnell, the other guard spot. Roberson wide to the left. 2nd and 11 for Buffalo on the San Diego 20. Jack Kemp on a fake to Joe, slips back at the 26-yard line. As he turned to pass, his feet shot from beneath him, and down he went. The right end, Bob Petvich, was right there on top of him. So it'll be 3rd now and 17 to go at the 26-yard line. The ball is directly in front of the goalposts. And, George, I don't think it would surprise anybody if Buffalo did put the ball in the air this time.
Well, I think they probably will because they have long yardage, of course, to go for the first down. And even if it's incomplete, they would bring the ball back then and put it right in the middle of the field where it is now, which is the ideal spot for Gogolak to have field position if he's going to try a field goal.
3rd and 17. The Bills on the San Diego 27. Roberson wide to the right. Billy Joe and Ray Carlton give the ball off to Carlton, who tries to go outside to the left, and he's nailed at the 25-yard line. So he picked up just a yard, and now they will have to try the field goal from the left hash mark.
Bit of an unusual call with such long yardage. However, the Buffalo Bills may be thinking of the clock on the scoreboard as much as anything else here. Realize that if they run a running play instead of a pass, which perhaps would be incomplete, they will use up a lot more of the time.
Time is certainly on the side of Buffalo right now. The 32-yard attempt from the left hash mark by Gogolak, spotted by LaMonica. It's up and away, and the kick is good. Gogolak has kicked his 3rd field goal of this half. 11 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. There's time out on the field, and the score is Buffalo 23, San Diego nothing.
Monitor on NBC Radio. Music. News. Sports. Comedy. Guest stars. Entertainment. All on Monitor. On NBC Radio. Your hosts, David Wayne, Ed McMahon, Gene Rayburn, Harry Nelson, Frank Blair. Monitor. Entertaining and informative. Tune in. Monitor on NBC Radio.
Pete Gogolak, who has kicked his 3rd field goal of the second half now, ready to kick off for the Buffalo Bills. Millifar and Speedy Duncan standing around the goal line for San Diego as Buffalo leading 23-0. Gogolak booms it deep, way back in the end zone, and it goes through the hands of Millifar over the end line. It'll be a touchback. A driving kickoff that had plenty of distance there off the foot of soccer-style kicking Pete Gogolak. So San Diego will take over 1st and 10 to go at the 20-yard line. Of course, George, you never know, but that last field goal could make quite a difference.
Certainly does, because now San Diego, of course, can't even catch up by getting 3 touchdowns. Before they could have put themselves ahead with 3 touchdowns and 3 conversions. Now they need 3 touchdowns and a field goal or a 4th touchdown. Pretty difficult with so little time remaining.
Johnny Hale back for a first down forward pass. Fires it over the middle to Keith Lincoln at the 25-yard line. Rolled down around the 26 or 7 by John Tracy. Out at the 27-yard line, Lincoln on the receiving end picks up 7 yards, making it 2nd down and 3 to go.
And once again, the open field tackling by the Buffalo linebackers and secondary has proven outstanding on the few occasions when San Diego has threatened with long runs by completing passes or having a runner break through the line of scrimmage. The defensive linebackers and secondary have been really deadly in their open field tackling.
2nd and 3 for San Diego on its own 27-yard line. Don Norton is back in there now for San Diego. Wide to the left, and here is Hadel being snowed under inside the 20-yard line. They had the blitz on. 2 linebackers are in there, Mike Stratton and John Tracy. They blitzed the outside linebackers as Harry Jacobs, the middle linebacker, was back there for pass coverage. And both linebackers got to Hadel and dropped him back at the 19 for an 8-yard loss. So it's 3rd down, 11 to go now for San Diego on its own 19.
You know, I don't think we've seen a screen pass yet this afternoon. One of the teams tried one and had the defenders out there blocking it, but that's the only attempt at a screen pass. We haven't had one other than that thrown all afternoon.
Well, right now it's 3rd and 11 for San Diego. They have 2 wide receivers using Allworth as a flanker over to the right. Hadel back to throw. And the ball is deflected by Jim Dunaway. the big left tackle, stuck up his arms as the ball left the hands of Hadel. And Dunaway just batted the ball off to the side, incomplete, so now it's 4th and 11 to go. So again, it's been a great effort on the part of the Buffalo defensive unit. The fellows like McDowell, Dunaway, Sestak, and Tom Day up front. Tracy, Jacobson, Stratton, the linebackers. And the deep defenders, Edgerson, Clark, Sames, and Bird. They've done an outstanding job today for the Bills. And Johnny Hadel backing up on formation now. One man is back this time. Ed Witkowski standing on his own 42-yard line. Hadel gets away an end-over-end kick, hits on the 46-yard line of Buffalo. Witkowski's going to let her roll across the 40, down to the 38, 37, and that's it, at the 37-yard line. Let's call it actually closer to the 38-yard line. So Buffalo now, which of course wants to use all the time it possibly can. And we have just 10 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the ball game, and the Bills are leading by a score of 23-0. They're going to make a change in the backfield now. Number 20, Bob Smith, has come in there. Smith from West Texas State, a 2-year man. And Don Stone will be in at running backs. Smith and Stone replacing Joe and Carlton in the backfield for Buffalo. Kemp at quarterback. Gives the ball off to Smith over right tackle and squirts through a hole and picks up about 4 or 5 yards before he's hauled down by Jim Warren, the left cornerback for San Diego. Frank Buncombe also in on the tackle for the Chargers. The gain is to the 43-yard line. Call it a 5-yard gain. Make it 2nd and 5 to go for Buffalo. 9 minutes, 25 seconds left to go. Bob Smith, who was in there for that play, now goes out for Buffalo, and Billy Joe comes back in. So they'll have Joe and Don Stone in the running back spots. Ernie Warlick and Paul Costa at the ends, and the flanker Roberson wide to the right. Gives the ball to Joe, and he's across the 45 to the 46-yard line. A penalty flag went down, and let's see what that's about. As George Gross made the tackle for San Diego.
I believe they had one of the Chargers for grabbing the face mask there at the bottom of the pile.
Well, let's see. The ball is spotted at the 46-yard line. It will leave him short of a first down, but the penalty is against San Diego, and apparently that's a personal foul, grabbing the face mask of the ball carrier. Moves it down to the 40-yard line of San Diego. So Buffalo has a 1st and 10 now on the Charger 40. 9 minutes and 1 second left to go in the ball game. And Buffalo, a 1-touchdown underdog today, leading by the surprising score of 23-0. Stone and Joe, the running backs, as Roberson, the flanker, moves out, sets to the left. Jackie Kemp gets the ball, hands it off in there to Stone, who is hit by Earl Faison. And Ernie Ladd, after a gain of maybe a yard, to the 39-yard line. 2nd and 9 to go. San Diego, which had led the American Football League in every major statistical category, most yards gained rushing, most gained passing, total offense, total defense. But today, this Buffalo team has risen to the occasion. And although there was no scoring in the first 25 minutes of the ball game, the Bills now with a 23-0 lead and 8 minutes, 20 seconds left. Buffalo staying on the ground to use up all the time they can. Ball goes to Billy Joe, trying to turn a corner on the left side, and Whitehead, the safety man, comes up to nail him at the 40-yard line for a yard loss. Buzz Whitehead, a 5-year man from Florida State University, in on the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd and 10 to go now for the Bills on the San Diego 40-yard line. Ray Carlton coming back in, and Don Stone going out for Buffalo. 7 minutes, 50 seconds left in the football game.
It's probably an indication that Buffalo is going to throw the ball on a 3rd and 10 situation, putting Carlton and Billy Joe both in the backfield. They are the best pass blockers that Buffalo has as far as their backs are concerned.
Roberson, the flanker, is the only wide receiver. Jackie Kemp gives the ball off to Joe, and he's nailed right at the line of scrimmage. Buffalo preferring to stay on the ground. Ernie Ladd and George Gross, the 2 tackles, converge on the ball carrier Billy Joe at the line of scrimmage. And now Gogolak is coming back in, and he will try to make his 4th field goal of the ball game. And this one will be from the 46 or 7. Pete Gogolak, who kicked 28 field goals in league competition this year. He failed to score in the last game of the season against the New York Jets, the first time in his 2-year career in the American League that he had not scored a point. This will be a 47-yard attempt. The ball's almost directly in front of the goalpost, just a slight angle to the left. And it's a fake, and LaMonica picks the ball, throws downfield, and it's caught by Jacobs at the 28-yard line. John Tracy, who was an eligible receiver on the field goal kicking team, grabbed LaMonica's pass as they faked the field goal, and LaMonica, who was to spot the ball, took the pass from center, got up, and flipped the ball out to John Tracy.
LaMonica had a rather pleasant choice there in that he had about 3 receivers downfield, all of whom were open. San Diego had 10 men up on the line of scrimmage, all intent on getting in and blocking the field goal attempt. Their 11th man was way back near the goal line, ready to field the field goal if it fell short. So when the Bills sent some receivers downfield, they were all wide open.
Oakland pulled that same play against San Diego and worked it successfully last week with Mike Mercer throwing a forward pass to Roger Hagberg. 1st and 10 out the 28-yard line, and the straightaway power play here to Ray Carlton, who has a couple of yards. George Gross, Chuck Allen. Stop the play. Ball spotted at the 26, a 2-yard gain. 2nd down and 8 to go. The clock is moving with 5 minutes and 35 seconds left to go. Kemp goes out, getting a nice hand. The Bills quarterback, Jackie Kemp, going out, and now Darryl LaMonica will come in to replace him. LaMonica from Notre Dame, a 3-year man, who just threw that pass a moment ago to John Tracy on the fake field goal. Ray Carlton and Billy Joe are the setbacks. A fake pitch and a handoff here to Ray Carlton with a big hole over the middle, but a penalty flag has gone down, and there was somebody moving for the Bills, I believe, before the snap of the ball. Chuck Allen and Kenny Graham made the tackle on Carlton down inside the 20, but I think, George, the game's going to be nullified.
I'm sure it will be, and that was probably caused by the fact that the Bills have changed quarterbacks. LaMonica has come in place of Kemp. And anytime a ball club does that, it takes a play or two for the offensive players to adjust to the different cadence. The quarterbacks try to use the same cadence, but naturally there's going to be a slight variance. So occasionally you will find an offside or a back in motion when a new quarterback comes into the game.
There's timeout on the field now with a score Buffalo 23 and San Diego nothing. George Rademan, the 6th Annual American Football League Championship Game at San Diego, and the Buffalo Bills leading by 23-0 as we have 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. Second down. 13 yards to go for the Bills. On the charge at 31 is Darryl LaMonica running the ball club now, has Carlton and Joe behind him. Roberson wide to the left. Give the ball off to Ray Carlton, who spins away from one tackle, gets to the 25, inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Frank Bunkum, the right linebacker, stopping Ray Carlton, who picked up a good 8 yards on the play, making it 3rd down and 5 to go. Third and 5. George said Ray Carlton has certainly had quite a day.
he and Billy Joe both have done a fine job, not only in running, but in their blocking this afternoon.
3rd and 5, down on the 23-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. LaMonica calls the signals with Roberson flank to the right. Gives the ball off to Billy Joe, who's caught behind the line of scrimmage. Steve DeLong, a rookie from Tennessee, and Ernie Ladd, the right tackle, stopped him. At the 25-yard line is where they're going to spot it. And now Gogolak comes in to try for another field goal, although you never know. The last time Gogolak was in there, they faked it, and LaMonica completed the pass to keep Buffalo's drive going. 4th and 6. And this will be a 32-yard attempt from the left hash mark by Gogolak, with LaMonica holding. If Gogolak makes it good, it will set a new championship game record. Gogolak already has kicked 3. The snap is good. The kick is up and away, high enough, long enough. No good. No good. Line to the left. Gogolak's kick went off to the left. So the score remains 23-0. With 3 minutes and 47 seconds left to go in the ball game.
I guess you'd have to say he's entitled to miss one occasionally. Wouldn't he? He's done a fine job this afternoon, not only this afternoon, but for the past 2 seasons for the Buffalo Bills.
Allen sailed just wide to the left of the crossbar. So San Diego will take over now, 1st and 10. Johnny Hale remains in there at quarterback. To send Norton wide to the left, flank Allworth to the right. And Hale's back to throw that ball, trailing by 23 points. Throws over the middle to Allworth at the 25, 30. Allworth to the 35, out to the 40-yard line, and goes to the 45 before Johnny Tracy knocks him down after Harry Jacobs had slowed him up some. Tracy put the stopper on Allworth at the 45. A 25-yard gain for Lance Allworth, who, of course, is a threat to go all the way with that ball anytime he grabs it, and he had a better than 20-yard average each time he caught a pass this year.
Bit of an unusual pass pattern, and once again the Chargers sent 5 receivers downfield, but that time 4 men went down deep, and Allworth, who was wide to the right as a flanker, just delayed at the line of scrimmage and finally came across the middle rather shallow after the other 4 receivers had taken the defenders deep with them. Allworth shaken up a little on the play, came out of the ballgame, as does John Hadle now, the quarterback for San Diego.
So Millifar comes in to replace Allworth. Don Breaux will be the quarterback, but apparently the Chargers took too much time, didn't get the ball in play within the necessary allotted time, 30 seconds, so it'll cost them 5 yards, make it 1st and 15.
And we've just been notified that Jackie Kemp has been voted the most valuable player in today's game, so that's another honor that he can add to his trophy case. He was named the most valuable player in the American Football League this year by the writers and announcers who covered the league.
1st and 15 now for San Diego at its own 40 as Breaux. Back to pass. Throws out here on the flare to Foster, who drops the ball. Back at the 37-yard line. Tom Day was coming up to nail him. Foster dropped the ball, and Tom Day picked the ball up. He was ready to set sail as he thought it might be ruled a fumble, but it's an incomplete pass. Well, Jackie Kemp did a remarkable job of moving this Buffalo club today. They came in here with one change in the interior line, and then had Billy Shaw hurt on the opening kickoff. He didn't play until the second half. So Jackie Kemp voted the most valuable player. 3 receivers to the left side in there now for the San Diego Chargers. As Don Breaux, the youngster, drops back to pass, fires one over the middle to Farr, and he makes a beautiful catch inside the 40-yard line. Millifar going high near the ground all the way. John Tracy and Tom Day made the tackle down on the 36-yard line of the Buffalo Bills.
And a fine pass by Don Breaux then. Farr had about 3 defenders around him, but Breaux drove the ball right between them.
Two minutes left to go, and we'll pause briefly now, 10 seconds for station identification.
These are your General Electric stations, WGY and WGFM, Schenectady.
minutes left to go in the American Football League's title game here at San Diego. 23-0. The underdog Buffalo Bills, who were underdogs by about a touchdown coming into the game today, despite the fact that they are the defending league champions. Only 2 minutes left to play, and San Diego now with a first down on the Buffalo's 36-yard line. Coach Sid Gilman of the San Diego team now has Don Bro, playing only his second year in professional ball, in there at quarterback. In fact, Bro spent most of the off-season looking at the game films to try to improve himself, and he's been called as one of the outstanding young, intelligent quarterbacks that Coach Sid Gilman has ever seen.
Sid certainly speaks highly of the boy, not only for his physical ability on the football field, but as you say, as an intelligent quarterback, and Sid Gilman predicts that someday Don Bro will be one of the fine coaches in the country.
Right now, they're back in the huddle, the Chargers, out near midfield. They come up with a 1st and 10 here at the Buffalo 36. They'll have Miller Farr off line to the right and Norton to the left. And Bro dropping back. The safety blitz is on, and Sames rides down. Don Bro back around the 45-yard line, maybe even a little farther back. They had the safety blitz on there with George Sames coming through to nail Don Bro back at the 48-yard line. 12-yard loss makes it 2nd and 22.
I think that Sames runs that blitz just about as well as anybody I've seen. He gets back there and hits the passer before the passer gets back there sometimes. He has a lot of speed, a lot of quickness, and sort of sneaks in there from the blind side on the passer.
George Sames, who, of course, was a great player in college at Michigan State, and actually played 2 or 3 games when he first came up to pro ball as a running back for the Buffalo Bills. 2nd and 22 now for San Diego, back at the Buffalo 48-yard line. 1:37 left to go in the game as Bro retreats. Now decides to run. He's tripped up at the midfield stripe, hit first by Sestak, who slowed him up, and then down he went at midfield as Jim Dunaway pounced on him for a loss of 2 yards, making it 3rd and 24 to go. San Diego is going to take a timeout, which will stop the clock now with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. But apparently, for all practical purposes, the game has been won here by the Buffalo Bills. They lead by a score of 23-0. It has just been announced here in the press box area that the last time San Diego was shut out was in 1961 when they were beaten 41-0 by the Boston Patriots.
And I think the fans here in San Diego are in a bit of a state of shock, you might say, right now, not just because their team is losing, but because of the fact that they haven't been able to get any points on the scoreboard because they have a lot of offense. Paul Lowe, who led the league this year in rushing, in fact, set a new record in leading the league. Very fine runner. Keith Lincoln, Gene Foster, 2 other fine runners. A great receiver in Lance Allworth and some other capable receivers, and John Hadle led the league in passing this year, so it's quite a feat for the Buffalo Bills to keep the San Diego Chargers at least this far into the ball game. Only 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. It's quite a feat for Buffalo to keep them from scoring.
And although I don't want to sound premature, George, I know you join me in congratulating Lou Saban and his fine staff, Joel Collier, Johnny Mazer.
They're a well-coached ball club. In fact, Dick Gallagher, their general manager, is waving to us right here. I think he's a pretty happy fellow right now.
Well, it's just 1.5 minutes to go, and it's 3rd and 24 to go. The ball is in midfield as Don Burrow retreats for a desperation pass here for San Diego. He's in trouble. Can't get it away, and down he goes back at his own 47-yard line. Tom Sestak coming through to nail him. Tom Sestak, the all-league tackle, who was, I believe, something like a 17th round draft choice a few years back. But what progress this fellow has made. It's the 3rd or 4th time he's gotten to the quarterback today.
Actually, Bro had pretty good time that time, but all of his receivers were covered downfield. He just had nobody to whom he could throw the ball.
Fourth and 27 to go. San Diego back on its own 47-yard line. Johnny Hadle going back now to punt. Buffalo is not going to send anyone back. They are not worried about any punt, but they figure this could even be a fake here. But Hadle is going to punt it. Gets away a high spiraling kick. Buffalo just letting the ball go. It's rolling inside the 10 to the 5 and over the goal for a touchback.
There's timeout on the field now with a score, Buffalo 23, San Diego nothing. Don Stone just has run the ball for a couple of yards out to the 22-yard line for Buffalo now as they huddle back at the 15 with a 2nd and 8 situation. 20 seconds left to go in the ball game. It's just about wrapped up here for the Buffalo Bills. Pete Mills wide to the right. And Lamonic hands the ball off in there to Stone again, who moves it out a couple more yards to the 24. It could be the last play of the football game. 2 seconds, 1 second, that's it. The ball game is over. That's the end of the game and the final score. The Buffalo Bills 23, the San Diego Chargers nothing. We'll be back in a moment with the final wrap-up of today's ball game. Well, it's all over here at Balboa Stadium before 30,361. Pretty much of a stunning upset, I would say, George, with Buffalo. Not so much the fact that they won the ball game, but how they won it.
Well, they came to play, as the saying goes, and scored twice by scoring touchdowns, 3 field goals by Gogolak, and just completely outplayed San Diego this afternoon. In fact, by the end of the ball game, the San Diego Chargers were a completely demoralized football team. I don't know of anybody that you could pick out on the Bills as being above his teammates. It was a fine team effort. Jackie Kemp was awarded the trophy or the award as the most valuable player in today's game, and he certainly did a fine job. But all of the Bills deserve a lot of credit, as do their fine coaches. They've done a tremendous job with this football team.
Well, we hope you'll stay with us, fans, because before we leave, we hope to bring you some of the post-game celebration from the Buffalo Bills dressing room. As they scored within 2 minutes late in the second period. First on an 18-yard scoring pass from Jackie Kemp to Ernie Warlick, and later on a 74-yard punt return by Butch Bird. That gave Buffalo a 14-0 halftime lead. And then in the second half of the ball game, Pete Gogolak kicked 3 field goals to put the game out of reach. San Diego never was able to threaten seriously the lead that the Bills had mounted in the first half. So Buffalo repeating as American Football League champions, even more decisively than they had done last year when they defeated the Chargers by a score of 20-7 in Buffalo. And Jackie Kemp, who probably had his 2 greatest games in the last 2 games of the 1964 campaign against Boston for the Eastern Division playoff, and the title there going to the Bills, and then the championship game in which Kemp had a great day against San Diego. And as George mentioned, Kemp again today was named the most valuable player in the 6th annual American Football League Championship Game. 23-0, the final score. The Bills, who had lost once to San Diego and been tied by the Chargers in their previous 2 meetings during the regular season. The crowd filing out, and it's been a very quiet crowd here at Balboa Stadium, needless to say today, because except for a couple of field goal attempts by Herb Trevino that went awry, San Diego, despite the fact that it had led every major statistical category in the American Football League this year, simply couldn't dent that great Buffalo defense, led by that great defensive line of Ron McDowell, Jim Dunaway, Tom Sestak, and Tom Day. San Diego actually had outgained Buffalo about 2 yards to 1 in their first 2 meetings this year, but of course they still don't pay off on statistics. We're waiting now for a word that we can get to the Buffalo Bills dressing room. We have Charlie Jones waiting there to bring you some of the excitement. Here he is.
Champion, the Buffalo Bills. Here's Billy Shaw. For the second year in a row, the game ball goes to our coaching staff for the great job that they've done. We want to give them to the coaching staff. Thank you, Bill.
Billy, you were nicked right on the opening kickoff. You didn't play any in the first half. You came back the whole second half. Any after effects?
No, I just got a lick on the head and the doctor kept me out. Cut down further injuries. But I'm okay now.
Okay, good. Congratulations. Congratulations. Coach, I know this is a great victory for you.
Well, it is. This club has got a heart like a blowtorch. I mean that sincerely. They've done a great job. My coaching staff, Johnny Major, Joe Collier, and Jerry Smith. And a real fine club. It's a club that they've had a lot of adversity, as you know, and yet they continue to win. This is the type of football team I'm very proud of. They're a fine bunch of guys.
But you came in as an underdog. What effect did this have? I understand that in practice this week you were quieter, more serious than you've been all season. Is that right?
Well, we know this is the big one we had to win. This is the only club we didn't beat this year. And of course, we wanted this one real bad. And of course, they got it, which is most important. They're a fine group of men.
It's a great team victory, and it's a great credit to your coaching ability with the injuries that you suffered.
Well, we just got to stay with them. See, there's a lot to do and there's a lot to say, but they stay right with it.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you very much.
George Burns. Butch, how are you? Good to see you. This is Butch Burns. Was this your greatest ball game?
Well, it's one of my better ball games, yes.
On the long return, what was the key to it?
Well, I had several good blocks. The final block by Paul McGuire, when I think he hit Hadel, it set it up perfect, and it was just all the way down the line.
It was just clear sailing all right.
I didn't have to do much at all.
Were you doing anything different on defense in this ball game? Did you change your defense?
We have a lot of respect for Allworth, and we double-teamed him for the first time in our history, as far as I know. We never double-teamed anybody, so it's quite a tribute to him, but it worked out fine. We shut him out.
And I made a note here, might be of interest, that your share is $5,189.
Well, it's a lot better than last year.
Good ball game. Here's Jackie Kemp. Jack, come on up. Jack voted the most valuable player in the ball game. Congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie. I lost my voice.
You lost your voice. What happened?
Oh, yelling and screaming.
All of the audibles at the line of scrimmage, was that it?
Lots of audibles and lots of cheering and everything else, but I was the happiest day of my life.
When we were talking before the ball game, I said, Jack, could you tell me a little something about what you're planning to do? And you said, I wish that I could, but I can't. What were you planning to do that worked so well?
Well, we just want to roll out more and do some things like bootlegs and play-action passes that we hadn't done before. And the big one, of course, is the one Ernie Warlick.
Right.
Coach Saban called the play. I want to keep that a secret.
What will you be doing after the season's over? You have a home in Point Loma and also a home in Buffalo. Where will you be staying? Are you going to commute? You're going skiing?
We'll go back to Buffalo.
Right. And then, of course, then in Houston for the All-Star game.
Right. Looking forward to it.
Hey, listen, congratulations. A fine ball game. Jack Kemp, most valuable player. Great. And the commissioner? How are you, Joe?
We made it.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
It's an excellent ball game.
I'm always hoping for a close one. I like to worry the coaches, but Lou's boys did everything right today.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Well, actually, Lou, a big defensive victory as an offensive victory.
yes. Well, our defense has held up throughout the year, but our offense played tremendous football today, too. So, as has been the case, it's been a team victory all the time. To use an old cliche, this is so true.
Where's Tom Sestak? Is he around? He had a great ball game. The one to talk to Tom is Curtin. Hey, where's George? George? Come on, George. As he pointed out about Tom Sestak. Come on, George. Hey, George. Congratulations. How do you feel? That's a cliche to ask, but how do you feel?
Great. I feel great about it.
And looking back over the whole season.
Well, it was a good season. What can you say?
I turn around here so they can get a better look at
We
it.
stayed together as a team all the way. We had injuries, but I felt the camp. Some eyes with the season is, they had the talent. We had a lot of ball players missing, but we had something that they couldn't buy. That's why I feel we won. So the season too.
That was the difference.
That was it.
Good. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Tom, come on up. This is Tom Sestak. Congratulations on your honor. Tremendous.
Thank you.
What were you doing any changes on defense?
No, we played our same basic defense we played throughout the year, and the coach told us just to go out there and play good, solid football, and if you do that, you should win, and we did.
Yeah, and you did it in tremendous fashion.
Well, that was a championship ball game, and we knew we had 6 months to recuperate if we got hurt, so we went all out for it, and we did it.
Well, I imagine as the premier defensive tackle in the American Football League that it's an extra pleasure to you to shut out the San Diego Chargers with the explosive offense that they do have.
That's true. That was really something, and our defense, we played good, sound football, and we're a very proud unit.
Well, you did an excellent job leading the whole unit as you have all year long.
Well, thank you. There was quite a few other guys out there, Dunaway, Roland, and Big Tippy Day, George Saints, Bushburg. You could just name them all. They did a fantastic job.
Once again, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
And I know you'll enjoy the holiday seasons much more now. Hey, Billy Joe. How are you? Good to see you.
Real good.
Hey, listen, did your feet bother you today?
Not at all.
I saw you
whatsoever.
a year ago, the last time I saw you, we had a long chat. You were saying that your feet were really bothering you, but they haven't all season long.
None whatsoever. They've been in perfect condition. Real good shape.
And this has really been a key as far as your performance. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It really is. They gave me a lot of trouble last year, but this year there's no problem whatsoever. I feel great.
I remember we visited in Boston in the preseason game, right before the ball game, and you said you felt that this was going to be, your finest year. Now, looking back, is this your finest year?
Definitely is. I lost a little weight. My feet weren't bothering me. I'm with a real good organization here, and what more can you ask? Great outfit.
And you're champion.
Oh, that's right.
That's good.
Most of all.
Right. Congratulations. That's it. Here we are in the locker room of the winners, and now let's go to Kurt Gowdy and Paul Christman.
We'll be back in 1 minute. The final score again is Buffalo 23, San Diego nothing. 23-0, the Buffalo Bills have repeated as American Football League champions, and waiting now to give us just a few of the major stats on the ball game today. Here's George Ratterman. George?
Well, and the statistics are amazingly close considering the final score. In first downs, Buffalo had a slight edge, 14 for Buffalo, 12 for San Diego. Yards gained rushing, 108 for Buffalo, 104 for San Diego. The Bills attempted 20 passes, completed 9, and had 1 of them intercepted. San Diego tried 25 passes, completed 12, and had 2 intercepted. Net yards gained passing was 152 for Buffalo against 119 for San Diego, so total yards gained, both rushing and passing, added up to 260 yards for Buffalo, 223 yards for San Diego. Amazingly close considering the final score, Buffalo 23, San Diego nothing.
The scoring plays again. An 18-yard pass from Kemp to Warlick in the second quarter, and 2 minutes later, late in the second period, Butch Bird on a 74-yard punt return. The only scores in the second half, 3 field goals by Pete Gogolak from the 11, the 39, and the 32-yard line. I'd like to thank our excellent spotter for today, Ron Swig. Our engineer has been Tom Jorgensen, and our NBC producer has been Hal Ashby. And once again, the final score in the 6th Annual American Football League Championship Game, Buffalo 23, San Diego nothing. This has been an NBC Radio Sports presentation.
This is the NBC Radio Network.